Welcome back to The Truth Hurts, where we expose corrupt politicians and lying corporate media. I'm Jake Duesenberg. Sitting next to me, as always, are the political junkies, led by Mega Jesse. How you doing, Mega Jesse?
Oh, I'm doing good. You know, we got a lot to expose today. I mean, the crazy, radical, evil Democrats are now pushing pedophile language into the gun control bill. This is insane.
I think someone probably read the title of this video and they're like, oh, whatever. What are you doing, clickbait? No, you will not believe this.
Yep.
And if you don't believe me or Jesse, the colorful people on set, actually, you're very colorful too, Bridget, with that shirt. But is Mr. Colorful himself? Yeah, that you just led me right into that. Straight-laced man, William Beck. How you doing, William?
I still take issue with the lead with MAGA Jesse. What am I?
Well, that's
the
why I do it
now.
That's why I do it. And Bridget wearing her pink and red Valentine's Day shirt.
It is Valentine's, but it's also summery.
Yeah, you pop out today. I'll just put it that way. Because we're all yesterday. Deep State Dawson, who's running the dials as normal, came in wearing a muscle shirt. I was like, dude,
Wow.
you can't do that. You can't wear a muscle shirt around here. What are you doing? But
He'll seduce the ladies.
I guess
That's the problem.
What ladies?
It's the Riz. It's
the
the
Riz.
Riz.
That's right. You taught me that language.
I actually learned about it yesterday. It's called the light skin Riz specifically.
Oh, I think
It's been around for forever. Apparently, I had no idea.
I don't think that's in reference to you, Dawson.
No, it's not.
All right. They didn't come here to talk about Dawson's rizzing and Dawson's muscle shirt.
You
They
brought
came
it
here
up.
because we threw up. What did he say?
He said you
brought
brought
it
it up.
Well, fair, but
Let him do his
that's
transition.
the problem. This is my normal self. Is I like to just rib each other and have some fun and poke issue at certain things, and it's just like we got a real serious thing going on. Like I threw out the term pedophilia, and I don't mean that in a way just to get clicks. I mean they're literally. I don't even have a conclusion on it. I'm gonna just share what we know at this point, and then you can. Well, I guess we'll discuss, and maybe we'll come to a conclusion. I don't know if we'll come to a conclusion. I don't know what the Democrats are doing here. Like, what kind of constituency do they have that's pro-pedophilia? It must be something. Mm-hmm. Let's pull up the article, actionforliberty.com. Go to actionforliberty.com. You'll find this article. Made sure it's a very easy image so you wouldn't be confused by other articles, because this article, I mean, you got to read this article. You got to share this article with other people. I lay it out. All right, here are the deets, right? They sound cool like you there, Dawson. The deets here. The Democrats in Minnesota, it was April 26th, Jesse. By the way, Jesse follows legislature full time, all right? And thanks to the support of a lot of you guys, we can actually keep track of what's going on in the legislature all the time. And last night, the Senate and House conferees in the public safety and judiciary omnibus bill. I mean, that's essentially they added judiciary and public safety together now.
Yep.
In this conference committee, made up completely of Democrats, came together with the final language of the bill. And we'll talk about the gun control stuff in just a second. So what they do is they take other legislation, they put together in this massive 100, sometimes 1,000-page omnibus bill. Completely unconstitutional in Minnesota because all bills must be single subject, and that must be expressly written in the title. So how can it be single subject when it's judiciary and public safety omnibus bill? How can it be single subject when you have pedophilia, okay, and gun control in the same bill? Plus, you can't fund the courts and the penal system if you don't pass a public safety bill. So they're adding all this stuff. They're sneaking it in to pull a fast one on you, infringe on your right, and in this case, bizarrely, trying to okay pedophilia. Yeah. So on April 26th, HF 447, and you can see I've got a hyperlink. Just move up a little bit there, Dawson. HF 447, hyperlinked right there. The House Civil Policy Bill. This was passed by the Democrats. Now, when they did this, there is a provision in the bill, and we wrote about it, that changed current statutes. So now go back to the original article, and you see right here, if we can zoom in on Section 5, Minnesota Statute 2022, Section 363A.03, Subdivision 44. And what it does is it's talking about sexual orientation, right? Sexual orientation means having or being perceived as having an emotional, physical, or sexual attachment to another person without regard to the sex of that person, or having or being perceived as having an orientation for such attachment. under current law, it goes on. What they're doing now is striking out, which means they're removing this from current law. So they're getting rid of or having or being perceived as having a self-image or identity not traditionally associated with one's biological maleness or femaleness. And more importantly, sexual orientation does not include a physical or sexual attachment to children by an adult. So I'm going to remind you again here, the Democrats in a bill called HF 447, their civil law policy bill, they want to remove this from current law where it says sexual orientation does not include a physical or sexual attachment to children by an adult. Now, what that says to me is they want courts and they want other people to interpret, be able to interpret pedophilia as a sexual orientation. What other conclusion can you make of this?
Right. No, I'm on the exact same page. And, we thought that this pedophilia stuff was over after the House defeated it. The House unanimously passed an amendment that would strike out this language. But then, in this conference committee, all of a sudden they put the original language of this bill
you're
back in.
stealing my thunder here, Jesse. I
I'm
was
sorry.
going there, man.
Well, that's not even what happened, right? They just added clarifying language at the end saying, by the way, this is not what this means.
This is not a protected
Yes.
class.
Right.
Okay, so this language stayed in. I think they tried removing it. Is that correct? Did they try removing this language? And the Democrats held their ground. Lee Finke, I believe, was the one speaking on it.
Right. Well, so what happened was, the Republicans noticed, look at this language that's in here. It's obviously pro-pedophile. So Harry Niska proposed an amendment that changed it. Everyone voted unanimously. I think.
No. You're getting ahead of me again. Man, it's not fair. It's not fair.
Well, I thought that's
He's
what you
stealing
were
my thunder.
asking
I was
me.
going there with that. I'm saying on this language here, didn't this get called out? Did they not try removing this language as an amendment? You watched a million bills, so
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
throwing
have
you
to
on the
remind
spot. I'm
myself.
sorry. We weren't able to go through this article together beforehand. Otherwise, you wouldn't be stealing all my.
Tucker's saying Chris Finke.
Chris Finke, fair point. Fair point. Don't let us forget about the Carla Nelson thing. That we got to bring that up today. That's interesting. Okay,
Not the Patriot, Carla Nelson.
Not the Patriot, Carla Nelson. As Jesse was alluding to, now let's go back to that article, actionforliberty.com. You can go check it out. The Republicans had an amendment which basically went at that part of the bill, and it said the physical or sexual attachment to children by an adult is not a protected class under this chapter. So it basically reiterates the fact that no, pedophilia is not okay. Because I think if I remember this right, Democrats were arguing. Chris Finke, I want to say it was Chris Finke. I mean, there's so many of them that could have been saying this, but that they were just saying that this bill was not approved, like okaying pedophilia. All it was like it's just clarifying on sexual orientation, and it never was a sexual orientation. But I mean,
Right.
listen, we're looking through what they're doing here. They want to, for whatever reason, they want to they want to validate, they want to legitimize pedophilia. Or
Yeah,
I'm sorry, not pedophilia, sexual attachment to children by an adults, right?
Well, and so when they're voting on this, didn't Finke originally vote against the amendment until he was swarmed by a bunch of DFLers?
I don't think that happened.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, I'm pretty
thought
sure
it
I
was
saw that board
initially-
light up green. So,
I thought it was you who was telling me that initially he voted against it until everyone was like, dude, no, you got to vote for it.
You know, I thought I remember that story too, actually. Jesse, I'm really sorry. We are putting you on the
I don't
spot.
think so, but maybe I'd have to go back and watch that footage because I don't think that's how it went down. But I do remember Chris Finke getting mad in the public, saying things on Twitter saying that, because that's when the Gays Against Groomers were putting stuff out there saying
Right.
this is pro-pedophile language.
Oh, I should
And
tag
so I think
them in this
Finke
tweet.
was basically getting upset about that, saying, this doesn't change any law that still makes pedophilia illegal. It's just, I think what they were arguing was that they didn't want to have pedophilia in the same section of law as transgenders and other things, but, the law is what it was, and they wanted to change it. We can now obviously see the bad intentions of it. So.
Yeah, and they're not going to claim their intentions here, but I mean, look at this. It's crazy. Why would you remove that from law? Why would you? What? No one's calling for this. They had to go through and say, hey, let's just get rid of this little provision, and maybe no one will pay attention. Like, why would they do this? Of course they're doing it because they're trying to legitimize pedophilia. They're sick individuals. So yes, Republicans put up, I think it was Harry Niska put up, the physical or sexual attachment to children by adult is not a protected class under this chapter. That passes an amendment. 100% unanimous, except for the people that probably weren't there that day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yep. Yeah, there were a few people absent.
Yes, and I'm guessing they would have been told, you better get on board, because no one's going to vote against that amendment. You see the language right there. The physical or sexual attachment to children by adult is not a protected class under this chapter. Who on their right mind would vote for that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm guessing there actually are people, but because all politics comes down to politically calculated decisions, and they're like, that one's going to really hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the campaign flyers.
Well, we can make those campaign flyers after I get to where I'm going with this thing here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's continue on. Jesse follows this stuff, following the Public Safety Omnibus Bill Committee because of gun control.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats are doing everything else. We could go on and on about all the shit that these guys are passing and how bad it is here in Minnesota. And they did, and we're going to get to it. But he noticed that the civil law bill from the House, HF 447, went into this bill.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, when a bill goes into a conference committee, there's a side-by-side view what was the original language and what the new language is. So go ahead and click on that image there, Dawson. And that is, is there any way to zoom in? And we're going to be like,
I'm gonna try.
or maybe it's easy. No, you know what? Maybe it's easier to go back to that other image and zoom in on that, because then we're going to have to go find it. Does this zoom in? That zooms in kind of well. This is just tough. So go to actionforliberty.com. You can see this. On the left side is what the original language is, and what's on the right side is what the final language is that's going to come out of conference committee. It's going to come up for a vote. There you go. Perfect. Good job. All right. So on the left side, this is the amendment that passed the House unanimously, which affirms that pedophilia is not okay in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And then you go to the right, and it's not there anymore. They removed that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that original language, as we showed, that said sexual orientation is not adult or sexual attraction by an adult to a minor. That's still in the bill.
Right.
So, in other words, they got completely removed that pedophilia is not a protected class. Democrats, and, you know, if you watch this show, we go after Republicans, too, on this show. This is not some partisan show here. Obviously, we lean more Republican or more conservative libertarian. But we're going to attack Republicans too. There's no Republican hands on this because Republicans weren't allowed on this conference committee. The Democrats appointed purely Democrats to the conference committee in both the House and Senate, including Judy Seeberger, Miss Moderate. We'll get into that here. Show you what Mega Jesse said to her on Sunday. So Senator Judy Seeberger's hands are all over this. They okayed this.
Yep. Well, it's not just some sort of whoopsie either that they left this line out. They intentionally took this bill and removed that line. Mm-hmm. It's very much a malicious action.
Right. And, this bill originally, before it was even in the civil policy law bill, this was, I can't even remember the name, the Take Pride Act or something. Like,
that's right.
It was something that Finke and Dibble and a bunch of these others were all trying to do even before it got into the first bill. So it's shifted now 2 times into different bills. It's crazy.
So my big question is why? Why are they doing this? I want to know what you guys think. Because I'm puzzled on this one. It's not William and I were talking about this before, and it's not like they have this big constituency of pro-pedophiles.
No.
I'm not going to say anything, but it's sure seeming like it's shaping up to be that way.
I don't know, William. You say things for a living. Say it. What do you think?
I do think there are some on the left who maybe they filter it through their own twisted mentalities, but I do think there is a small base that advocates for this stuff. Otherwise, why would they be pushing these drag queens and this gender theory on kids in schools?
Right. Mm-hmm. You know, they always say, like, rape is the penetration. So at least, you know, with a drag show, there's no penetration. It's still sexualization of children. But, I mean, pedophilia is, like, it's rape, actually, right? Because you can't have sex with a minor. That is illegal in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's the worst crime, you know.
Yes.
Even prisoners treat other prisoners that way.
And sex implies consent, right? And a minor can't consent.
Exactly,
That's
that's
why
why
it's
it is.
rape.
So would this make that? I'm just curious. Is this technically
No,
illegal? Like, is it illegal still? Would rape
No,
be-
statutory rape would still be on the books. It's just that it's an orientation. So if you're not acting on it, it's okay. But that's where it goes, Bridget. That's the problem. Is that's where we're going with
eventually
this
what they're going to do is make them a protected class. All that they want to do now is just remove it from them not being a protected class in law. So the next step is eventually going to be them trying to protect them, trying to make them a class that can't be discriminated against. That's what the Democrats are going to push. It's not here yet, but it's coming.
Well, and this is what they've been doing for decades, right? They've slowly been advancing their progressive liberal agenda. It's the frog
hoping
in the
no one
boiling
notices,
pot.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then at some point, the logical conclusion is that child pornography wouldn't be illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that right?
Well, there's a whole conversation we can have about pornography and what it does to the mind, and all the different porn categories that are becoming much more popular. If we can go down this route,
go on, William.
No. So
you threw
it's
that one out at us.
So they have the stepchild porn. Like, this is a big meme, but like it's becoming a bigger category. They have data about this.
Okay.
You're laughing, but it's true.
It's a funny topic. You all of a sudden come at us like an expert on this.
The thing is,
How do I not take
degeneracy is just being promoted more and more in society, and that's the direction that we're going. The porn categories are becoming a lot weirder. They have data on this of which kinds of porn categories are being watched.
Yeah.
And it's the weird taboo stuff that's increasing at an alarming rate.
Well, if Bill Dingsvin, our fan, is watching, I'd love for him to pipe in on this subject. Once again, I'm not going to try. I'm a libertarian. Live and let live.
Yeah.
Consenting adults, okay? But child pornography, and certainly you would hope that it never gets to a point where the actual producers of it are doing an illegal thing, because that's...
It is. Human trafficking is also
that's
big in
thing.
the
I
porn
think
industry.
pornography is so tied in with
exactly.
sex trafficking.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
And that's why
So
the producers could never have a legal production of child pornography.
Yeah.
But I'm saying with AI, well, you know what? That's actually interesting. With AI, would child pornography no longer be illegal?
Well, so often pornography leads to pedophilia, though, so that's why I think it should still be illegal. Because, I was listening to Candace Owens, actually has been talking about it a lot recently. She's done a couple shows on it, and she talks about how, I think it was I can't remember the exact percentage, but it was a significant amount of people in prison for pedophilia or similar acts were previous porn addicts, and it just became worse and worse until it's
you articulated a lot better than I could.
Yeah, but I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I think someone's got to have
statistics on it.
sickness in there. Maybe minors,
Well, where do you think it comes from?
Under 18, maybe, but not.
I don't know.
Because pedophilia is a prepubescent child, right?
Yeah, but you can read. So Tim Ballard is a guy. He's done a ton of work saving kids from he goes to different countries and he's done a ton of stuff against sex trafficking, and he's saying it's crazy how many people that get involved in porn, then they go to child porn, and then they actually go to actual actions against children because they're not satisfied. So eventually, okay, just watching adult porn is not enough. They start to watching child porn, and it just is this slow progression.
Yeah, they do brain scans on people who watch frequent porn versus people who don't watch porn as often, and where the endorphins are. And the more and more you watch porn, the more endorphins you get, the more extreme stuff you need to get that same endorphin rush.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But
so you turn to more and
because
more.
It's more taboo. Is that the logic there? Because it's not like people that consume straight porn then go to gay porn. Wouldn't that be the same logic? I don't buy what you guys are saying.
Sometimes, yeah.
I don't buy what you're saying because I think it's still.
Well, they've done studies on this.
Well, of course, they've done studies on Pfizer vaccines too. There, William.
Well, right, but someone has a vested interest in the Pfizer vaccines. There's nothing for anybody to gain by stigmatizing porn.
There's a $1 billion industry there behind that.
Exactly, which is why they'd probably want to cover up these studies. There's no $1 billion industry for helping people heal from porn.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, there are some. I mean, there's
$1 billion industries,
but maybe not $1 billion. All right, we're going down a rat hole. All right, interesting topic.
I'd be curious what people in the comments think about this.
Weigh in on that too. But I just don't think it's a logical step that you go into child pornography because I think it's a sick fetish for somebody. Well, we're
not saying different things here, Jake.
Yeah, I know, but you're just saying it starts with straight porn and then it goes to child porn. I'm like,
no, there's steps in between.
I know, but I'm saying that the steps go that way. I think some people literally don't have that fetish, so why would they go that direction? You're just saying it's purely endorphin based, and And maybe it's because it's taboo, but wouldn't that make the...
Well, it's not like it has to be one direction. There can also be lots of like childhood trauma maybe create some of this.
I
Like
think
there are
that-
different...
I think that what you're saying there, William, has to do with what Jake's saying, because the pipeline wouldn't be like super vanilla straight stuff going down to crazy stuff, then going down to child stuff. That's like where the mental illness has to kick in, or the trauma or whatever has to kick in.
Well, right. It does become a mental illness at some point.
All right, let's get off the porn topic because, quite frankly, I mean, I had to listen to what you were saying.
You don't
just the way
enjoy
you opened it
talking
up.
about porn all day, Jake?
No, I want to get off this topic because we got a bigger issue at hand right now. We got an issue with this sickness in the Democrats literally wanting to okay pedophilia. I don't know what... I don't understand it. It's got to be the smallest of all constituencies. Are they really this confident in their left-wing agenda that they're like, all right, let's give it to the little pedophilia
I think you
category?
think too highly of these far left activists, Jake.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
think
no,
that's
I-
dumb.
I see
Fair.
what Jake is saying. The majority of Democratic voters do not support pedophiles. I mean, come on, like like you're saying, there's only 1-2% of crazy people that are supporting this stuff. So it's crazy that the Democrats would think that they can do this.
But the problem is, it's not the majority who wins things. It's the people that show up. Well, think about how we do things here in Minnesota. You get DFL endorsements. So then you can go on to win the primary, so you can go on to win the general election. Well, who shows up at those DFL endorsements? It's the furthest left people you can find on the street.
I still think of the furthest left people. We're not talking about people that are okay with pedophilia.
Yeah.
Am I wrong on this? What do you guys think? Am I wrong on this?
No, I know. Just because
Is this
someone's
really
a socialist
mainstream
doesn't
now?
mean that they like pedophiles. You know,
Yeah.
it's like they're separate things entirely. So
Well, William might be right about this. I might be missing out. I mean, literally, we've definitely talked about how they're fine with drag shows. I mean, there wasn't a single Democrat that voted. No, I'm sorry. Keep saying that. There wasn't a single Democrat in the Senate that voted against the trans, or what did they call it, the gender mutilation bill.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a single one. And in the House, only one that courageously voted against it, Pulaski
And one who
Winona,
didn't show up.
and one who couldn't figure out how to vote remotely that day, Dave Lizagard, and chicken shit. So, I mean, it's mainstream there with, I
Yeah.
mean, okay.
yeah,
That must be it. Maybe it's a bigger constituency than I had thought, which is really, really sad.
For all those people who want to go back and clip this in the future, I'm not saying that all Democrats think this way. I think it's a very small minority of them that do, but I think they have more impact than we give them credit for.
Well, we're going to get to Trump's performance on the CNN town hall later in the show, but, it's just interesting. They think they really got the Republicans on this Jan 6 thing and election denial, and it's like, I mean, more people are going to be up in arms about this issue. If Democrats really are standing for pedophilia,
yeah.
that's a big problem. What do people have to say here, Bridget?
I just saw one come in from Wyzetta1. Says, I think in general they are trying to disorient and confuse the populace by destroying conventional boundaries. Breakdown, chaos, disorder is the goal. And then Roxy1956 says they want to have their way with our children, perverts.
Yep.
And then T-Wall, so not K-Wall for life, T-Wall for life, says the problem is no one will ask why.
Is there a reference with the for life thing that I'm not getting?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
Well, we have K-Wall for life and T-Wall for life.
I don't know. Must be Russian bots.
Then we have TMBA on YouTube says Christians are on a terrorist list. This is sick and absolutely evil. Why aren't these people on a watch list? And
Yeah, true.
it's kind of true.
They literally have
Yeah, they
FBI
do.
agents going to traditional
Yeah.
Catholic Latin masses.
Mm-hmm.
But of
So
course,
insane.
not the drag shows or at the strip
Yeah, but the
clubs.
Catholic thing was not pedophilia. That's
No,
the thing.
but-
they miscategorized that because that was really homosexuality. It was post-pubescent children.
Well, I wasn't even talking
boys.
about that. I was talking about how these are the people that the FBI is watching. It's the Catholics.
Oh yeah, I see what you're
It's
saying.
the Christians. It's the conservatives who want to just be left alone and do their own thing.
Right. Well, if you're a pedophile, I don't want you to be left alone doing your own thing. You're sick and you need to be in prison. Like honestly, that's bad. That's really bad.
Yep.
And not according to the Democrats. So to sneak this thing into the bill, this bill could get a vote. Let's go back to the article, actionforliberty.com once again. Go to actionforliberty.com. The bill now is SF 2909, Senate File 2909. You see there's a hyperlink there. So Lat's obviously, so I just hyperlinked right to the committee right there. But this thing, when is this going to get a vote?
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's not on the agenda for the House or the Senate today, but, obviously they're going to be looking to get this through as quickly as they can. And I think that the Senate Republicans are alerted to the fact that the Democrats are pushing pedophile language. So hopefully that gets stopped. And, hopefully the Democrats, take their heads out of their asses and vote against this thing, because it would be, the most blatant anti-Constitution, anti-Second Amendment legislation that's passed throughout this session. So it's stuff that we cannot allow. We cannot allow these crazy tyrants to infringe on our gun rights, and we can't allow pedophile language to be passed in our state.
Mm-hmm.
We have an article about that, don't we?
About what?
The Second Amendment stuff.
Yeah. Let's pull up the article on the Second Amendment. So this is Democrats add extreme gun control in the public safety omnibus bill. So the same bill, and there's crazy Judy Seberger.
Isn't that a fun picture?
I mean, she's laughing at you. Hey, I don't care about your gun rights. And, genital mutilation of our children is okay. By the way, she said at the town hall, and we're going to play a video of Jesse confronting her, that do we have this video available that we could show people?
What?
Dawson,
What do
is it
you-
still on her YouTube unlisted? The one where she's saying that she didn't know what SF-63 was.
Yeah.
All right, cue that up. I'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
So anyhow, why Jesse was watching the Public Safety Omnibus Committee is because this is where the Democrats are going to put gun control legislation.
Mm-hmm.
They have this hard-on for universal background checks, which, by the way, universal background checks say that if I want to sell my firearm to Jesse, we got to go find a federal firearm license holder and do the transaction through them. Costs us money, costs us time. And they're like, this is going to stop mass shootings. No, it's not. Because if I want to do mass shootings, I'm not going to go through an FFL. That's the dumbest thing ever. And by the way, most gun violence in America is gang-related. So they're definitely not going to follow these laws. It's a ridiculous thing. All it's going to do is put more undue burden on us. Just lawful, God-fearing Americans who maybe he wants to buy my old shotgun to go pheasant hunting with.
And, considering that Judy Seberger is on the Public Safety and Judiciary Conference Committee, that gives me a bad idea that she is probably already in lockstep, ready to go for this gun control bill. So considering the fact that she is on that committee, I think, maybe the only senator left that can be moved is Senator Rob Kupek, because I don't think I've heard anything publicly where he stands on this bill. So besides that, I think, I don't know what can even be done. These radical leftists are just willing to vote for anything their party bosses tell them to.
Yeah, well, we can put pressure on them and make sure they don't. Go ahead, William.
Was that information you told us earlier? Information that we can share
You're gonna have to the
about
crying
Judy in the
caucus?
committee or in the caucus?
No, that's not public. We can't say that.
I just didn't know if it.
I don't know. It could have just been hearsay. I heard. That's what I heard. She was
Well, why-
crying in
you want-
committee. I don't know.
But she was crying in committee
That's
because
what
she
I
didn't
heard
know how
because
to vote.
gun control. I can't. These are two
Yeah,
extreme.
yeah.
I don't know if it's true.
I think it's hilarious if it's
well,
true.
yeah.
I mean, poor woman. She didn't know what she was getting herself
Well, good
into
thing
when she
CNN's
ran
not
for
moderating
office,
this show because they'd be like, "That's false." And the courts have found that to be false.
but liar,
Jake?
liar, pants on
Yeah.
fire. Yeah.
God, that town hall. Yeah, let's go. Before we get to the end of this gun control thing, let's pull up Judy Seberger in her own words when addressing. Now, just let me throw this out at you. If you ever get invited to a town hall with these vulnerable Democrats, what they're gonna do is they're gonna have some legislative aide read the comments. You gotta submit the comments. You can't just ask the question yourself to a legislator. At least Putnam let you talk to him, right? They don't let you talk to him, so you gotta submit a question, and then you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna cherry pick the ones they want. And they're going to give the whole show over to him. And if you're Shane Hudella, I don't understand this guy. This Republican House member, he decides, a week, maybe not even a week before the actual town hall, I'll do the town hall with Judy Seberger.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are you thinking? Why
Yep.
don't you make her answer these tough questions? You're in the minority. So half of the town hall that only win an hour on a Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock. This is how transparent. The only town hall Judy Seberger's had, she never gets back to constituents. I'm actually one of her constituents. Never gets back to us. She only gives you one town hall on a Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon. by
Beautiful
the way.
Sunday afternoon with guys like myself, obviously with our family, doing something very important. And then of that hour, that's all you get, an hour. You don't even get to address her. They cherry pick the things. And then half of that goes to a Republican because he decided to give her some political cover. Shame on you, Shane Nadella. Let's go to the clip of her addressing the child gentilation. That sounds like it should be a word. Gentilation. Child genital mutilation bill SF63. Let's watch this.
I gotta point out really quick. This is like super raw video, so the audio is kind of crap.
Ooh,
but
mystique behind this. Super raw.
This next one, we'll start with Senator Sieber. Thank you both for your answers. Could you explain SF63 that just passed 2 Fridays ago?
Brenda, do you know what it's about?
It's gender affirming care.
Oh, gender affirming care, yes. Can I explain it?
Yes.
All right, well, so what we've passed here off the floor in the Senate allows providers essentially to provide gender affirming care to folks who need it. So, and it does provide the right for children and adults with disabilities to receive gender
No, it doesn't.
affirming care.
It does not do that at all.
It's,
Not one bit.
Information out there about what it does and what it doesn't do. And I would.
You're giving them
simply defer
misinformation.
into my position that the legislature does not belong in doctors' offices. These are conversations to be had.
What about vaccine mandates?
And I trust physicians to abide by accepted medical practice.
It's not
and
accepted.
do what's right
This is
for
so.
their
Oh
patient.
man, these people just piss me off. Acceptable medical practice. The devastating effects of a human being, especially a young human being that gets gender affirming care, as they call it. Yeah, whatever. Genital mutilation or hormone treatment. That is not good treatment. What they're saying, safe and effective, that's the line they like to say. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
But number 2, that bill was not about adults getting gender affirming care. That bill was all about a child who one parent says, I want to bring this child here to Minnesota, and they're going to stand by as a sanctuary state so that child can get that care.
Yeah, she missed the whole point. As ashamed as I am to say it, like the genital mutilation surgery, that is legal in Minnesota prior to this bill. What this
Yep.
bill was about was allowing someone to drag their kid to Minnesota and ignoring any kind of court order that might stop them
Yes.
to get this surgery.
And
or the
we were
hormones.
kind of split on this set here about should gender mutilation surgery be legal. You think not at all. I think there's actually more merits. I might be coming your way. But I think in a consenting adult, maybe it should be legal. But we have got to agree that you can't do this to a child.
Absolutely.
A prepubescent child, once again, and this is why we
Or
think...
post-pubescent, really 18 is what we want to see.
Yeah, but
there.
I mean, like, prepubescent's huge because it's like this is before a child even goes through sexual maturity. That's a
Right.
huge deal. And they're targeting 6-year-olds. They had a 6-year-old on the stage with Governor Walz. Extreme radicals. This is why it's like pedophilia, okay? What did that sign say behind her? It looked like it said great and then had Judy on it.
You know, it's funny. So one of our volunteers made up these stupid signs. Like, good job, Judy. Good job on public safety. And as I was walking in, he was like pasting them on the wall all around. It's
I
hilarious.
mean, it's a con job. That's it.
Yeah.
This is a big political show. What they're going to do is they're going to make it look great. They're going to stack their own people there. And credit to the freaking left. The left shows up.
Yeah.
You know, we should have been outnumbering these people. And, hey, I'm guilty of it, too. I decided, because I knew about the event, and I had a family thing going on, and I was like, I can't cancel. And it killed me because I really wanted to cancel. If you guys wouldn't have gone, I would have canceled. But thank God you guys did and had people show up. And Dawson, yeah. fair
Thank
enough.
God we don't have anything going on Sundays at 2:00.
You don't stream till evening.
You
Shut
don't
up.
have kids, so it makes a
You're right.
difference.
Can I point out really fast? I thought that the one skill that you had to have to be a politician was that you had to be able to like speak, like
No.
public speaking stuff.
No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
that one.
Are you kidding me? She needs to take a freaking acting class or something because it's ridiculous.
No
Well,
kidding.
no, she's a good actor because she's a moderate.
Well, and and on top of that, she couldn't even remember the bill number for the bill that hundreds, maybe thousands of people were calling and
Right.
emailing her office about. But hey, she insists that she gets right back to you.
But she never does.
She never
She's a
does.
liar.
Yeah, she says that in the beginning of the presentation that, you know, all you guys got to do is reach out and I'll reply. You know, it's like, are you kidding me? There's so many people in this room that have probably reached out to her and not gotten a response. And, Dawson actually got a really big win at that Judy Seeberger town hall too. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, I see Dawson go up to the front. He's convincing Judy Seeberger and Shane Hudella to lower the curtains to help with the lighting for the camera.
awesome.
That was incredible,
Oh my
Dawson.
gosh.
I mean, you convinced the establishment to, help us out. That was really cool. I had to keep it together. I just looked down, pretend like I didn't know what was going on. But man, that was a good move, Dawson.
You
Call him
should,
Deep
uh,
State
Put that
Dawson.
clip in the Hall of Fame somewhere.
Yeah.
You should show up at the Capitol as a what was it, like a student doing
Oh,
a project? You
Hey,
should
hey,
say-
hey, hey, hey. Shut
What?
up.
My cover.
Shut up.
Who cares?
No. Don't blow the cover. My God. This is good. Clearly, he's not Deep
I
State.
mean, if they're
Okay,
watching
hold on.
this show,
They're
they're
watching the show.
gonna
They
know who
recognize
Dawson
the
is.
guy.
Oh,
What do we
clearly
do?
they haven't yet.
If somebody is watching this show, hey, Judy Seeberger's.
Also, we
aide-
literally have the video clips.
Judy Seeberger's aide, if you're watching this show, I'm sorry I lied to you.
That
No, you're
was
not. She lied to us. She's a
Yeah.
fake
I'm
modern.
talking, I'm talking the nice old lady that was like, oh, where do you want to set up? And I was like,
That what she sounded like?
she was just like a grandma. She was so sweet, like, and some volunteer or whatever. And she was just like, oh, I'm a professor at the U. And I went, she's like, I teach political sciences. What teacher do you have?
Uh-oh.
And I'm like,
Gosh.
Rebecca. She doesn't let us use her last name, so I kind of forgot it. And she was like, I didn't let my students call me by my last name either.
Wait, you're
That's a
kidding,
thing?
right?
Oh yeah.
That's a thing?
Yeah, no, I had a
Yeah.
lot of professors in college who just, you called them Brian.
I'm not
you
used
know?
to that.
Wait,
That
no,
doesn't
can we appreciate how well Dawson pulled that off? Because I did not know that she was a professor at the U.
She I walked up to her and said, "Yeah,
Political
I'm a poli-sci student, and I'm doing my final right now, and I have to record something and give a presentation on it." She's like, "Oh, I'm a poli-sci professor. Who's yours?" And I was like,
You're saying you said you're a poli-sci at the U and she's a poli-sci professor at the U?
"Yeah, that's right."
What are the odds? That's so funny.
Well,
Well,
okay, what are the odds,
the odds
that
are pretty
a
good.
poli-sci professor is at a political event? Like, I get that, but what are the odds that a poli-sci student that also double majors in videography is also there?
You should have
that
been
is,
a journalist student or something.
I know.
For the
I know.
future.
Next time I'll just say I'm a communications major.
There you go.
Oh, I teach communication. I'm the dean of communications.
Yeah.
That's why I call him Deep State. Like, that's pretty damn impressive what he just did there.
I've taken acting classes. I know how to do it. It's
Acting. Okay, so speaking acting, this is what it is. It's a big act, right? So they're gonna just pretend like we care. They're gonna set up the room. Oh, Judy Seeberger's great. We'll get a dumb Republican to come in and field half of the damn questions to give her political cover. Such a stupid idea. So, and we're only gonna go an hour. Oh God, I'm sorry, we don't have more time for you guys. We said an hour. We're sticking to our schedule. I've seen this for decades, guys. I know the tricks. And then we're gonna cherry pick the questions. You can't ask a direct question. So what does Mega Jessie do? Well, screw that. I'm just gonna ask a question myself right after she gives her lame ass propaganda introduction. Let's play this video. This is Mega Jessie confronting Judy Seeberger last Sunday.
You should be pissed off at this senator. Judy Seeberger claims to be a moderate, but she has voted in lockstep with every single Democratic bill and amendment. So I went and called her out.
So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Representative Hudella, and he'll give you his update.
How come your presentation doesn't say anything about your vote on the child transgender mutilation? You're afraid of it.
Sit down.
You call yourself a moderate, you're a fake moderate.
Sit down.
There is no moderate. There is no moderate that votes for child transgender mutilation. Hey, I'm out of here. Trust me, I don't need to listen to liars. I don't need to listen to evil people. You know exactly what you're doing and you call yourself a moderate. It's a joke.
Get out.
That a boy, Jesse, and then
know,
of course
it's impressive.
facing all the get out of here! How dare you talk to your senator?
I love the lady at the very end who you're already leaving. She's like, get out.
Yeah. No, it was
Nasty,
funny.
old, nasty people.
Yeah, and so to give people some context of the full thing that happened there, so yeah, Judy Seeberger, she's giving this little update. She's got her presentation. She's going through all these slides, and I'm sitting there thinking, is there any way that she is going to address this child transgender mutilation bill? And I knew it. Of course not. She's not going to, she's not going to present that in front of everybody. So I figured if she doesn't talk about it in this presentation, well, somebody better stand up and say it. And since I was there, I said, let's make it happen. And, she didn't say a single word to me. all of the voices in the crowd, that was all from the crowd. That was all from people just in attendance. Judy Seeberger, she didn't have a single excuse. She didn't have a single thing to say. And, you know, what ended up happening after I walked out of the room there was I was met with a couple of police officers, and one of them said to the other, "He's got to go." And I said, "Don't worry, I'm on my way out." I said what I wanted to say. And the cops, I had a couple of smiles on the way out. So I think that they were happy with what I had said as well. So.
Yeah. That's probably all their Democrat supporting pedophile supporting Democrats yelling at them there.
Probably.
Maybe it isn't that big of a minority.
Yeah, Carla Bigham was there, you know, the old state senator.
Was that the one that was beyond you in that scene? Because it did kind of look like Carla Bigham.
No, she was on the
No.
other side of the
Yeah,
room.
she kind of looked like Carla Bigham there.
Yeah,
I
the
can
one,
see it.
the one who was
That
sitting
looks
next
like
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that I couldn't tell what that lady was all about. She just sat there quietly the entire time.
She didn't make a
so-
face as you were standing
Yeah,
up.
she didn't do anything. It was kind of like it didn't affect her. Yeah, I don't know, but no,
good
it was
for
pretty
you,
interesting.
Jesse.
And yeah, that's the thing. You know, people definitely, you know, when you're face to face with these politicians, you know, it's so easy to just sit there quietly and angry, you know. But I wasn't going to do that.
yeah.
I was going to call her out, and you know, I wish that she would have had some sort of explanation, but you know, she didn't want to explain herself. Shane Hudella just went into his presentation after that, but
And
it-
probably
it
didn't
put her
call
on
her out
notice.
on all her extremist stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I just don't understand. What are you doing, Shane? Like,
Yeah,
this is so
it's a
stupid.
joke.
These people are destroying our state at a rapid pace, and you don't want to like lash out at it. You're doing a joint town hall as if all is great in the world.
Mm-hmm.
My God.
You
This
know,
is why Republicans lose in Minnesota. They are stupid.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in the comments are saying it's because of the Minnesota nice attitude on
Yeah.
both sides.
Yes, that's the problem with Minnesota is there's too much nice. These people aren't nice. They literally want pedophilia being okay in Minnesota. They think a child as young as 6, maybe 4, whatever, should be able to be on hormonal treatment or get gender mutilation surgery. What is nice about that? You
Yeah.
got to stop being nice. This is ridiculous. We are losing the state. It's
Yeah.
so clear. Do you know what's going on right now? Not only are they going to infringe on our gun rights, they literally are about. Oh, what just passed here? God, there's so many things. It's hard to keep track of it. The Metro sales tax.
Yeah.
They just increased your tax, so you want to buy like. I'd imagine it affects car purchases. That would be a really big expense. But anything you buy in the Twin Cities, it's probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. For a lot of us, per year, they just increased your tax, and they have a historic budget surplus that we're not going to see back. I'm forgetting something that just came through the pipe here that was really radical. Go on, read the next comment. I'm gonna look it up.
Bad Hat Harry
Free
says the
college.
Minnesota GOP is complicit with the
Sorry,
NFL.
sorry.
Go
That's
for
it. Free college, right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Now imagine this.
Yep.
So colleges are a complete scam at this point, right? I mean, we realized a couple of years ago the online university scam, right? And those are already shut down.
The online university.
Yeah,
scam.
you know, this happened many years ago. Like the online universities, they were getting all the funding by government, and now it was the kind of an implosion.
Oh,
of
so
those
you're not saying that all online universities are a scam?
Actually, I think some of the best education actually takes place online. But you know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
I don't want to say the names of them, but I you know, bunch of these went under, right? This was a big political thing. I want to say it was
Gotcha.
4 or 5 years ago.
Really? Oh, I don't remember.
You don't
hearing
remember
about-
this?
No.
Yeah, I think it was, or maybe it was even further back
Must
than
have been
that.
before I got into politics.
Must have been
Yeah,
when you were like 20, Jake.
wasn't decades ago. But the university system's a massive scam, and to the point where like people are graduating high school, they're just not going. Enrollment keeps dropping. So what they did is a tuition freeze. So now you, out of your surplus money, is going to be bailing out this fraudulent college system that does two things. It removes potential labor force for about 5 years, because isn't that what about takes for people to graduate college these days? About 5 years, right?
I think 5 years is the average. I
Yeah,
did mine in
5.
4,
So it takes
but-
good potential labor out of the industry. Could be plumbers, truck drivers, you know, electricians, a lot of other good skilled laborers, right? Takes them out of the workforce, essentially. They'll do like waiting jobs and stuff like that. And many of them probably aren't even doing that anymore. And then it gives them some useless degree. Sociology, gender studies, whatever. Some useless degree. Many of them don't even go into the profession of their degree.
Right.
And then they're heavily in debt, right? So what they're doing is they're freezing tuition because we wouldn't want them to have debt. And then they just did this. And I never saw this coming this session, but all of a sudden, I think a week ago, we found out because we knew about the tribal.
Yeah, and and I
tuition.
was watching some of the committees and stuff, and what people were saying on the floor, and they were all upset about it because they were saying, all of a sudden this gets thrown into in the last minute. We didn't know about it, so we weren't the only ones that were shocked by it. There were a lot of Republican members of the House that had said, like, this comes out of nowhere, and let's not forget Senator Omar Fateh. He is an admitted socialist. He calls himself a socialist. So we should assume then this is a socialist bill. Why else would he be the chief author of a bill unless it is socialism? Because that's exactly what his political ideology is. So,
socialism gives free college to everyone who has parents that make less than $80,000 or family income, which I assume is adjusted gross income. So if you can already write off $24,000 in standard deduction, that means people making over $100K a year.
Yeah. Well,
Which,
and it's making,
by the way, is not poor. It's not like you're living large, but it's not poor. And so essentially free college. And it just came out of nowhere. So now we're going to pass free college in Minnesota. And these assholes, I think it was Fateh that said, no, it wasn't Fateh. It was Gene Pawlowski. Okay, now before we cover for Gene Pawlowski, because Gene Pawlowski, the one like old school rural Democrat who actually didn't vote for gender mutilation surgery and didn't vote for the abortion bill, but Gene Pawlowski like spearheaded this with Fateh being the Senate lead. And what does Gene Pawlowski say? We have a labor shortage and a real crisis, so we need to solve that by giving free education. It does the exact opposite. So now these poor saps that actually go in and work are going to pay for people's free education.
Well, that, and it makes everyone else's degrees worth nothing. Because college degrees used to be somewhat of an exclusive thing.
Somewhat.
Now, if everybody has a college degree, well, it doesn't mean anything to have a college degree.
If they still go to college, that's the question. Will it even work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I remember hearing and writing down the figure of how many people that they are going to give to free college to. I want to say the number is maybe between 50 and 60,000 or something. I'd have to go and look at my notebook, but yeah, it's going to be a crazy amount and going to waste a lot of our money.
So I think they allocated something like 100 something. We have this story in actionforliberty.com if you want to go back and read it, but it's 100 something million for the first year, and then I think it's like 70 million per year after that. Right. So translate that into college tuition.
Yeah.
Bad Hat Harry said the average Minnesota household income is $60,000.
That's right.
The average household income?
Yeah. So
that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess most people would be able to qualify
free
for
college,
this. So free college in Minnesota. There you go.
MT Anderson says, my last 2 years in the Minnesota House, I told the U of M lobbyist, I do not want to see him for the next 2 years. He asked why. I said the U of M administration would fail the Carlson School econ test.
Who said this?
Mark Anderson.
Yeah.
The last 2 years he was in the Minnesota House?
Yeah, he was a Minnesota House member, I think all the way up to like 2014, I want to say.
Oh, gotcha.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. Then he went on to do cool things. Like he's a pilot.
Nice.
That sounds
And
more
he
fun
actually-
than legislating.
He actually had a brewery in, it's so clever. It's in Nisswa. It was right by the Gall Dam. So it's the Gall Dam Brewery where you can have a Gall Dam beer.
Wow.
I love that place. We did an event back there in like 2016 or 17
It's
or something
fun.
like that.
Also, K-Wall and T-Wall for life are husband and wife.
Oh, okay.
So-
that makes
So
sense.
what's
And I guess
Wall
K-Wall, I don't know. Maybe that's part of their last name or something. What's Wall? I guess.
Well, we got to the bottom of that.
But I have to throw out there too. K-Wall gave us another $10. He said, I love the fact that we
Thank
have
you.
local Minnesota political coverage at the time I can listen. Thanks, team. And a
Thank
lot
you,
of support
K-Wall.
for Jesse's work. at
Now
the town
can
hall.
Thank you.
Now can T-Wall give us no,
Oh, gosh.
up it? No. Yeah, we're going on a lot of rants today, so thank you for the Rumble rant. That is so nice. Doesn't K-Wall give like?
Yeah, K-Wall's awesome. Like every time almost.
Yeah, K-Wall's one of my favorite people. That I don't, and I don't know why I assume K-Wall or K is the woman and T is the man.
Well, I think it is. I'm looking at the picture. I think T-Wall has a picture. And it
Are
looks
there
like a woman.
more male names with T? And by the way, gender's fluid, so what am I talking about? K. I just assume there's more Ks with. I mean, all the Kyles that are watching are like, you asshole, how dare you? And all the Trishas are like, come on, what about me?
What female name starts with K? Oh, Christy, Kathy.
Kristen, Kathy,
Karen. Yeah.
Carla Nelson.
Carla, there's a lot.
There are a lot.
All right, let's talk about Carla Nelson real quick. Before
was
we
a
forget.
fantastic
And we're not talking about
transition.
the patriot Carla Nelson, our loyal viewer, but Carla Nelson, the senator. Jesse, did you have this story?
Right. Well, so what happened was, Carla Nelson, who we all know was one of the senators, one of the Republican senators who did not vote on the child transgender mutilation. We heard in the comments section that somebody had maybe reached out to Carla Nelson, and Carla Nelson said that
And I think it was Dober Dan, wasn't it?
it may have been. I can't remember for sure, but what they had said was that she doesn't like to vote remotely. She doesn't vote remotely. Okay, Carla
That's
Nelson.
the stance of Senator Carla Nelson. She doesn't vote remotely. Apparently, she said that either at the town hall or said that to Dober Dan. I think I've got this correct.
Right, and then what's going on today? Well, who's voting under Rule 40.7, which means that you can vote remotely? Well, Carla Nelson. And who else? Rich Strahim. Rich Strahim is, of course, one of the other senators who did not show up to vote for the child genital mutilation. He says he had doctor's appointments. I'm not going to question his physical or medical fitness for office, but, you could at least call in your vote like the other senators did, I can't imagine that his doctor's appointments were taking all day long throughout hours of debate. I can't imagine that's what was going on. So it's a shame that these senators, if you get elected into that office, the least you can do is show up and vote and fight.
Now watch. He is
That was Dober
No.
Dan. He said that it was
what?
at the town hall that she was called out.
So Dober Dan.
she's a liar.
There you go. So she said it. Yeah. Oh, well, shocker.
Yeah.
Politician's a liar. Shocker.
What's new?
Yeah. What's new? Well, there you go. Dober
Yeah,
Dan.
well,
If you're
thanks a lot for
constituent-
talking to her, Dover Dan. Yeah, that's
Well, that'll
important.
be in the so that'll actually be in the journal today. So if you reach out to Jesse, how should they reach out to you, Jesse?
Yeah, my Facebook page, MAGA Jesse. That's
Just go
probably
find
the
Mega
easiest way.
Jesse. Reach out to Jesse. He'll send you the journal tomorrow when it's written out, and then you can see she's voting under Rule 4. Was it
40.7, yeah.
40.7. There you go. It's always fun catching these guys in lies.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to that gun control. I want to give you guys Seeberger and Kupek's contact info. Scroll down to the bottom. Actionforliberty.com. Judy Seeberger, and that's in District 41. That's Lake Elmo all the way down to Hastings. And then Rob Kupek, he's over there by Moorhead. He's right on the North Dakota border.
What I've been telling people is keep calling until one of these guys picks up and
Yeah.
talks to you. Keep leaving them messages because they're not going to pick up. Let's be honest.
God,
Wish we could get their cell
Fill
phones.
their
flood
answering machine.
their answering machine. Email these people. Be insistent that they do not vote for these gun control measures and this pro-pedophilia language in the public safety omnibus bill. Judy Seeberger's hands are all over this. She was a conference committee attendee, a conferee, if you will. Judy Seeberger, fake cop, by the way. She wasn't a cop, but she's
a paramedic.
In her campaign lit, she was a paramedic at some point in her life, and so she has.
She
this,
still is.
She still is.
Yeah.
She has this outfit on like she's a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, people. I heard from people on the campaign trail over there that they thought she was a cop,
Right,
Because
yeah.
of all the pictures.
She knows what she was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
What are you doing? I was just wearing my uniform. Yeah, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're doing. Okay. Got to mention, Carol Hexam, if you're watching, you won Liz Collins' book, They're Lying.
Oh, nice.
Carol Hexam is our winner. Just drew that. You get the signed and not just signed copy of Liz's book. There's her signature right there. Oops. Kind of see right here is her signature, her initials. But I don't want to show everyone else because inside here is a special drawing she did for the winner of this book. And only you, Carol, get to see it. So Carol Hexam, congratulations. I'll reach out to you later and we'll find a way to mail this to you. I think Carol's up there. It's Otter Tail County.
Yeah.
So I'm forgetting the name of the town she's in, but up in Otter Tail County. That's
And
awesome.
that lady is a fighter.
Yes, she
She's
is.
such a fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when she won, William like, yeah, that's awesome. You always want someone that you know, but
Yep.
Well, where is she from? She's not initially from here, right? From the U.S.
Brazil maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds
Brazil?
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived
If Carol's
with her.
watching, she can
doesn't
tell
just
us in
take
the
her freedom for
comments.
granted.
Yeah, Carol, if you're watching or
Yep.
someone knows her, let her know she just won the Liz Collin book. It's a paperback copy with a special image. All right, do we want to talk about the deep fake? Let's just save that to the end if we get to it, because I want to go into the town hall, CNN town hall. Did you guys watch the CNN town hall with Donald Trump? Because if you're a cord cutter like myself, you probably around that time are like, all right, let's just go to YouTube and find CNN, and you realize, oh wait, you can't watch this thing online. So I had to watch this stream. I think you guys all watched someone else's stream of it. Essentially, unless you have cable, which a lot of us younger people don't, you didn't probably watch this. And all the people that do have cable and love Trump probably tuned in, so CNN got great ratings.
Yeah.
And the haters probably watched because they're like, oh, let's watch CNN. So, Jesse, I think we're going to have some fun with this one because I don't think we're going to totally agree, but I will say something that we all agree on. What that CNN town hall did is show just how pathetic and gross the media is these days. Because what I saw from this thing is just a way to finally get all our anger directed right to the orange man himself. And Caitlin, whatever her name is, the CNN debater.
Yeah.
Let us know who won the CNN debate last night. Was it Donald Trump or Caitlin?
We actually have a Twitter poll. So
Do
if
we?
you go
Did we do
follow
that?
us
Good.
on Twitter, you can answer.
I'm going to interrupt really quick one more time because Mark Anderson just gave us $100 and said because you're all worth it. So
There
thank
you
you
go.
so much.
Thank you very much, Mark Anderson.
That's awesome.
All right, now let's do 200. Who can do 200? If you haven't been to our Christmas program, am I not a good
Mark was there, wasn't he?
auctioneer? Yeah, Mark
Yeah,
was
Mark
there.
was
I do some pretty good auctions, don't I? Bid
Very
those things
impressive.
up.
Can we put the Twitter handle up on the screen there?
I don't see it. Oh, there
Has
it
it been
is.
a while since we've used it?
Oh, you did that 3 hours. Oh, right when I had
There
that
we go.
idea, huh? So 3 hours ago, who won last night's CNN town hall? Oh, you didn't do debate. You should have said debate.
Well, that's
still-
the
it's
fun
still
of it,
funny.
though, right? Like,
It's still
you don't
funny.
win a town hall.
Yeah,
normally.
okay, that is funny in its own right.
Yeah.
Well, it basically turned into like a debate between
Yeah.
Caitlin, the host, and Donald Trump. So far, all the respondents here have said Donald Trump. No one's gone
Wow.
Caitlin Collins yet.
No Caitlyn fans in the. Wow.
But it was pathetic. Right away, what did they CNN does is they put the 2020 election thing right there and doesn't even let Donald Trump get words out of his mouth. Just fact-checking, saying he's false, saying
Playing
he's
cover
lying. That's
for
not
Biden.
true. Covering for Biden.
I love how
Yeah.
he did his own fact check. He pulled out his
Oh,
pocket
yeah,
tweets.
right.
He's like,
Well,
well,
this is what I
actually."
actually said. Yeah.
And there's truth to that. You know, all this narrative against Trump on
He's too
January
social for
6th,
that.
Yeah.
they, like, literally, Twitter took him down. You know, they're like, why did you say? It's like he did say this stuff. And in his damn speech, he said we must patriotically and peacefully walk to the Capitol or something like into that tune, right?
Yeah. To that effect. Yeah.
Yes. He wasn't calling for tearing down the Capitol. What do you see? We must fight. We all say fight in politics,
Yeah.
but that's what they hone in on because they know what they want to do. They know the narrative they want. CNN was on full display last night.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Jesse, we had you put together some clips. So let's go with, let's see here. Where'd that go? The town hall on so January 6th. Let's watch the bit on January 6th.
You want the full 2 minutes, probably?
Full 2 minutes,
Yeah.
Jesse? Okay.
Yeah. I think it's good.
Okay, here we go.
That day, as you know, was your vice president, Mike Pence, who says that you endangered his life on that day.
I don't
Do
think
you
he was in
feel,
any danger.
Mr. President, do you feel that you owe him an apology?
No, because he did something wrong. He should have put the votes back to the state legislatures, and I think we would have had a different outcome. I really do.
But he doesn't have the authority to do that, as you know.
What?
The vice president does not have the authority to reject those,
are you ready? Let's
those
have this
election
one out
results.
just now, because it's interesting. Let's keep it interesting, right? I like Mike Pence very much. He's a very fine man. He's a very nice man. He made a mistake. His lawyer said, You cannot move. I called him the human conveyor belt. I said, even if the votes, I talked to his lawyer, even if the votes are absolutely fraudulent, he can't say, yes, sir, he can't send back. And the Democrats played it, and the rhinos played it. And then the election was over. They told him he couldn't do it. And Mike said to me, I can't do it. The lawyers told me I can't do it. They can't do it. But the lawyers were wrong, because right after the election, they all met, the rhinos and the Democrats, and they worked out a plan to make sure that future vice presidents don't do what I said you could do.
That's not what happened. You're referring to the Electoral Count Act. I've read that. There is no authority.
No,
legal experts, including Republican legal experts, say that he does not have that authority, Mr. President. But I want to
why
move
did
on.
they change the law then, saying that you can't do it?
They didn't change the law. They strengthened the law because they were worried about
Oh, they
presidents
strengthened it,
exploiting.
meaning you could do it.
The audience goes crazy.
Got
I
her.
love that.
Strengthened the law
Mike
because
had
they
the
were
right
worried.
to do it. They convinced him he didn't, and it was a horrible thing for our country. If you would have sent those votes back to Georgia, Pennsylvania, and other states, Wisconsin, which if you look at Wisconsin, they virtually admitted now that the election was rigged. If
They
you
have
would have
not
sent
admitted
those
that,
votes
Mr.
back to
President.
many of those states, they would not come back in the affirmative. And remember what I said, and you just said it pretty much, you admitted what I said was right. They said he didn't have the right to do it.
I did not.
And he did have the right to do it, and that's why they changed the law, taking that right away.
I should note that your
Yeah, I mean,
campaign
that was a
paid for
good scene
recount
there
that
by
happened in
Trump.
Wisconsin. It actually
This is basically what happened the whole town hall. She just kept interrupting him. Like, it turned into like a debate between the CNN host, if you will, and Donald Trump. It's like, hey, isn't this a town hall where he gets to talk to the Republicans and undecided voters? But it didn't turn out to be that way.
Yeah.
Shocker, right?
The town hall really, like, I haven't been as much of a Trump guy this time around, but man, this town hall really makes me miss him.
Well, yes, and there are parts, and then I'm going to get into some of my thoughts about what Trump said. And, of course, I see in the notes that Jesse put together, none of the bad moments of Trump are on there, but nice cherry picking. One thing that I did notice, unlike
That's not what happened.
That is exactly what happened.
No, I try to find some of the stuff that, you want to complain about, but, it just
False.
wasn't there.
False. So one thing I did notice is eventually in this town hall, these people can actually ask Donald Trump directly their questions, unlike Judy Seeberger.
Yeah,
where they
right.
cherry pick it and they have to read through a legislative assistant. Isn't that interesting? You can address the former president of the United States in a town hall that goes longer than an hour, FYI.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to share it with Shane Hudella.
Right.
And so here, Donald Trump answers these questions, but you can't do that to Judy Seeberger. Just so you know, just so you understand. Next one. Okay, this is the highlight. This is the best answer of all of them by Trump. CNN is trying to trap him on so much. And they, this is the sickness of Caitlyn. Caitlyn is just playing to her audience. She got back in the back room, the green room afterwards, and they're all like, you got him! Ha ha! That asshole, you finally got Trump! Good job!
Right.
She's getting paddled on the back, or patted on the back. Not paddled. Kinky, huh? That's probably what they do, these crazy CNN people. Patting her on the back. They're probably going out and whining and dining that night because you got Trump and you focus that energy just like Jim Acosta did back in those good old days,
Yeah, right.
And so, she was playing a part. That's what she was doing. And I actually think, if you look at the end, because when Donald Trump says you're a nasty person, is that in this here?
No, I didn't attach that.
At one point, Donald Trump goes, you're a nasty person.
Yeah.
Right? But he shakes her and goes, good job at the end. So I think even Trump's like, yeah, you're playing a part. I know.
Right.
I know
He
about
understood that, CNN's going to be adversarial. It would be a complete change of pace if all of a sudden CNN was, treating him nicely and fairly during this thing. I wasn't expecting that.
I'd be kind of concerned if that were the case. Like,
Yeah,
what-
and also
what
we
deal
would
do
think,
they make?
what's going on? The fix is in. Yeah,
Yeah.
like what's going on here? It doesn't make any sense. So,
Right.
everybody kind of expected that that's how things were going to go. But yeah, she embarrassed herself multiple times there, just playing cover for Biden. Especially when it came to the documents. Because Trump was saying, I have the Presidential Records Act. That's how I was able to declassify these documents. And then Joe Biden at the same time, he's taking documents to Chinatown. The CNN lady doesn't want to talk about that. She doesn't want to talk about how Biden's got documents laying all over the floor in his garage with his Corvette. At least with Trump, he kept the Secret Service there to, keep an eye on those documents. So one standard of justice for Trump, another one for Biden.
What do we got,
Yeah,
Bridget?
sure. Dover Dan says, I think they really wanted to get Trump to capitulate to the 2020 election, which is clearly obvious, I think. And at the
I
end,
don't.
how they
I
asked
don't
him-
agree with that. By the way,
Really?
they did
Oh my
not want him
gosh.
to capitulate on that. No. They
thought they
think
did.
that's the winner there. So they want him to look crazy and extreme. That's why they keep bringing it up and over and over again. They did a focus group afterwards with some Republicans in the room, and they couldn't get over that question. They had to bring it up with the focus group too. That's what they want. They think this is the red meat that's going to hurt Donald Trump's reelection. And mind you, a poll just showed he's up 7 points on Biden. So I don't agree at all.
Oh,
I don't
interesting.
think they want him to. What good is capitulating on January 2020? You know, if their talking points are real, that's what they would want. They'd want us to move on as a
Yeah.
country, but they don't want that. They want Trump gone. Because look at how they report. Remember, did I read this on air, or was that to us in the pre-production meeting? It's like CNN will host a town hall with Donald Trump next Wednesday, and then the next line was, Donald Trump is currently under investigation for. It's like,
Yeah.
you guys, you don't like the
Yeah.
guy. It's so obvious. You think now all the lines with Biden in them by CNN go, Joe Biden right now is being investigated by the House Oversight Committee. No, they don't say that. But they do it about Donald Trump because they hate Donald Trump. Their whole goal is to ruin Donald Trump,
Yeah.
which kind of makes me more pro Donald Trump because I know how terrible the lying corporate media is.
Yeah, you know, when I what makes me think the same way is just, you know, when I see the establishment so badly wants to defeat Trump, it just shows me he's fighting for us. You know, otherwise the establishment would be fine with him if he was really going to do their bidding on those major issues. But, you know, I just know that he's anti-deep state, anti-globalist, pro-America.
All right,
That's
well,
what matters.
I'm going to tear some holes into that. But I agree, the sentiment is it kind of makes me more pro-Trump because of their treatment to him. Let's get to some more comments, and then we're going to go to the next section, which is the best part of Donald Trump on Ukraine.
YZ1 says, they sure seem to scream a lot about the election, or that the election was fair. If it was, why are they obsessed with defending it? And then the same person, YZ1, actually made a comment about, you know, when you guys referred to the term fight, they said, we also fight in sports and in medicine and in public policy. So that's...
Yeah, but they're removing Fighting Sioux from the logo. You know, we can't have fighting in there.
Oh, is that official?
Really?
Is that official? I thought that was official. I don't know.
I thought they were holding out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fighting Irish are fine, though.
Yeah.
All right, this next section. So, once again, the pitiful mainstream corporate legacy media can't help themselves. But when it comes to the very gray area of world affairs, foreign affairs, right? You either got to be pro-Putin or pro-Ukraine. Literally, that's how it goes for these dumbasses. I can't stand it because foreign politics is so gray. There is not black and white. And if you don't know what I mean, it's like there's no more pitiful regime out there than the Kims in North Korea. But that doesn't mean we just go invade North Korea because that's a bad thing for us, right?
Yep.
We don't get in a nuclear war with North Korea. It's a gray area. That's why I am pro meeting with world leaders, even if they're scumbag, terrible, horrible human beings,
Yep.
because peace is what we want. We don't want more death, okay? Everyone knows Putin is a bad person, okay? Trump believes that. But you don't lead with that in this complex world environment. And Biden, that's his position.
Yep.
Ukraine good, Russia bad. Ukraine's got to win. So what is this is the most horrendous part about CNN's performance is Donald Trump, do you want Russia or do you want Ukraine to win? Essentially what they're asking. And they want one answer. And in this case, Dober Dan, sorry, they don't want him to say Ukraine. They want him to say Russia because then he's pro-Putin and it goes with their narrative to slam and ruin Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Right.
And Trump has a brilliant response and she accuses him not answering the question and goes back to him. But it's a brilliant response. It's perfect. It's exactly what I would say. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
This one's 5 minutes 45 seconds long.
Play it all. No, I'm kidding.
No, just I think we'll just know when we want to stop watching it. So,
Yeah, we'll let you know.
All right.
This is so important. I think people need to watch this, though.
I want want to get to another voter. Caitlin Boissonneau is a student here at St. Anselm College. She's a Republican. This will be the first election that she has voted in. What's your question for the president, Caitlin?
Hello, President Trump.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
The current administration has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. Do you support this decision, and how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all, thank you very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question, so important, because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much. But here's the thing. I have to say it to start off. No longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened. And even the Democrats admit that. Putin knew it would have never happened. And his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened. But this
Which
would never have
Democrats
happened.
say that,
And
Mr.
all those
President?
dead
That's what she
people,
does the whole time.
both Russian and Ukrainian, they wouldn't be dead today. And all those cities that are blown up and disintegrated right to the ground, that wouldn't have happened. Okay, now, here's the problem. We've given so far $171 billion. They've given, meaning European Union, which is approximately the same size altogether as our economy. They've given about 20. So we're at 170, let's say, and they're at 20. You don't have to know too much about history to realize, or geography, to realize that they're a little bit more affected than we are, okay? So they've got to put up a lot more money because they're taking advantage of us like every other country did. That's why I ended NAFTA.
Do you notice her
and
posture?
replaced it
She's
with
just
the
ready to
USMCA
interrupt
in
him.
Mexico.
But on this issue, Mr. President, I should know, I don't know any Democrats who have said they don't believe Putin would have been invaded if you were president. But her question is, would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if you're elected? What's the answer?
I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky because, as you know, he backed me up with the phony impeachment.
That's
Impeachment
right.
hoax number one, when he said the president didn't do anything wrong. So
That
I
was when
happened
you
to
asked him
like.
for an
So I
investigation in
happened to
exchange
like.
for
Yeah, that's right.
weapons.
And I was totally exonerated, by the way.
Geez,
Just
she's
a waste
so
of time
annoying.
and money.
You
I
were
know.
impeached over that.
All right. Stop right there real quick. This is literally, if you didn't watch this town hall, this is how she operated the whole time, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to interrupt. I'm going to provide other facts, right?
Yeah.
You know, she's like, you were impeached, Mr. President. Well, he wasn't convicted, right? Impeached is one thing. You got to be convicted by the Senate. He wasn't convicted, right?
Yeah.
It's so annoying. And her posture, just this is what I got to do. I got to interrupt the president. And it's like,
And
did
every
Donald
little
Trump
thing.
lie? Donald Trump lies like every other politician. Yes. This one, in this case, is a harmless lie. It's like, oh, even Democrats, it's like, okay, probably Democrats didn't say it. He's puffing out his chest and saying stuff. But it's like, you can't even let that go. This is my problem with the
She's
legacy.
Like, which Democrats?
Yeah,
which
which
Democrats
Democrats?
said that? You
Yes.
know, I'm sure that there are probably some Democrats that have said that, but
Probably
you know.
not, but, because they're a cult nowadays. But here's the deal. I wouldn't have a huge problem per se with this if you did this to everyone, including Joe Biden. You don't. You don't do this to every politician. Every politician lies to us. It's not just George Santos, right? He's the only one that's
Yeah.
getting convicted for lying. These guys all lie to us. You don't do this to anyone else, but you do it to Donald Trump, and you don't feel ashamed. And by the way, you're going to get patted on the back in the green room afterwards because you gave it to Donald Trump. Sorry, I didn't want to take away from it because this is where it gets good. She asks him this pointed question, and eventually he gives a great answer, and she can't comprehend it because she's living in this like dichotomy of you're either you're either for Putin or you're for Ukraine. That's the only two lanes you could be in. There's nothing else,
Yeah.
and he just eviscerates that. So let's watch this.
For that, but let's stay on topic here, Mr. President, because the question is, would you give Ukraine
I
weapons
was
and funding?
impeached by a crazy woman named Nancy
But the
Pelosi.
question is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were
I
elected?
would sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
How would you
He
settle
wouldn't,
it?
but I love that. I love that optimism by him.
I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be
Do
absolutely
you want
over.
Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people. And
That's
Perfect
right.
answer.
Yeah. That's great.
Perfect answer.
Yep.
He just owned you, CNN. Now watch this.
Can I just follow up on that? You
But
said
one
you
of the
don't
things
think in
you have
terms
to
of
do is
winning
you
and
have to get
losing.
you have
Mr.
to get
President, can I
Europe.
just follow up on that because that's a really important
Excuse me,
statement
let me
that
just
you just
follow
made
up.
there. Can you say if you want
Excuse me,
Ukraine
let
or
me just
Russia to
follow
win
up.
this war?
I want everybody to stop dying
Yes.
dying. Russians and Ukrainians.
Great
I want them to stop
answer.
dying.
All right.
And I'll have
We're
that
settled.
done.
She's
I'll
done.
have that
No
done
more
in
questions.
24 hours, I'll have it done. You need
Right?
the
No
power
more
of the
questions.
Should be.
presidency to do it.
But you
But
won't say that you want
Wait.
Ukraine to
Oh.
win.
you
said
know
when
what I'll
you were
say?
in-
I'll
when you
say
were in
this.
office.
I want Europe to put up more money because
Yep.
they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 170, and
that's
they
not
should
an
be,
answer about who
and they
should
should
win the war.
equalize.
Fourth
they
time.
have plenty of money. They should equalize. I got with NATO.
But I'm
when I
asking you
sat down,
about
I
Fifth
got
time.
Ukraine right
Oh
now,
my
Mr.
God.
President.
hundreds of billions of dollars that they
Can we
weren't
get
paying
6?
under Obama and
She
Bush
just won't stop.
and all of these other presidents. That's why they're able to help them fight the war because of the money I got. But I
let's
want
talk about
Europe
what's happening in
excuse
Ukraine,
me,
Mr.
I want
President.
Europe to put up more money because they're laughing at us. They think we're a bunch of jerks. We're spending $170 billion for faraway land, and they're right next door to that land, and they're in for 20. I don't think so.
When it comes to what's happening there, when you were in office, you said that you respected President Putin. Do
Oh,
you still
double
respect
down.
him today?
He made a tremendous mistake. He was a smart guy, you know. I remember I said he was smart, she was smart. They
What
said
was his
he
mistake?
said President Xi of China, right? Is smart. Okay, 1.5 billion people. He's the ruler of 1.5 billion people. I said, yeah, he's a smart guy. How dare he say he's smart? Of course he's smart. They want you to say he's a stupid person. Okay, he's not a stupid person. He's very smart. He's very cunning. And Putin made a bad mistake, in my opinion.
What was his mistake?
His mistake was going in. He would have never gone in if I was president. We used to talk about it there.
Do you believe that he is a war criminal? Do you believe
Here
that
we
Putin is
go.
a war criminal? He's responsible for the deaths of thousands
Well,
of
I think
Ukrainian
this.
men
I
and
think
women
it's
and
something
civil
that
children.
should not be discussed now. It should be discussed later. Because right now we have to get a war. If you say he's a war criminal, it's going to be a lot tougher to make a deal to get this thing stopped. Because if he's going to be a war criminal, where people are going to go and grab him and execute him, he's going to fight a lot harder than he's fighting, you know, under the other circumstance. That's something to be discussed at a later date.
But isn't it
Right now,
important
we
to
want
call
to
it
get
what
that
it
war
is?
settled. And I'm not talking about the money either. I'm talking about all the lives that are being, the number of people being killed in that war is far greater than you're hearing. When they blow up a city and those buildings come pouring down and they say 2 people were injured, no, hundreds and thousands of people are being killed, and we have to get that war settled.
On a lawn that looks like this.
That's a really tough question.
Yeah.
In fairness, that's a tough question. And I love how he pauses and then gives the right response, because is Putin a war criminal? Let's not beat those war drums right now.
Yeah.
Right?
I hadn't even thought about it that way, but that's a great response.
Yeah, my initial thought is most leaders are war criminals. So it's not just Putin.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to answer that question yes, even though the answer is yes in many regards.
Yeah.
It's that, yes, most are, right? Mm-hmm. That's the wrong way. He responded perfectly. But it's so interesting. It was like, I think I counted 5, maybe it was 6 times. She could not give up on, is it Putin or is it Ukraine that you want to win the war? And it's
Yeah.
like he gave a great response that can't get through you guys' thick skulls, and you wonder why you guys are dying as an industry. Mm-hmm. It's because
They
most
just
people
look
are
at,
like, yeah,
oh,
we want
so
peace.
people stop dying. Who wins then? You know,
Yes.
it's like maybe
Everyone.
nobody wins. You know,
Or
Maybe-
everyone wins when they
yeah,
stop.
that's exactly right. Everybody wins when the war ends. You know, so
That's why going to North Korea and meeting with Kim Jong-un was so good.
Yeah.
Is because as pitiful it is. I can't imagine standing and shaking the hand of a terrible, horrible dictator like that.
yeah.
Right.
But to stop us from getting into a war that would be bloody and bad for everybody, if you got to go do something like that, that's actually very heroic. And what Biden is doing is the exact opposite. He's completely sided, and Congress. Let's just admit that these congressmen are traitors, including everyone in the Republican delegation who literally have voted to fund Ukraine war, a proxy war against Putin. So they're taking our money and sending it overseas. You know, I don't care what your views are, but you can't be engaging us in a war like this. And Donald Trump answers it well. And honest to God, I don't believe for a second he's going to end that war in one day. But the fact he says it with such great confidence, and the guy understands the dynamics of, I won't call him a war criminal because that's not a good way to deal. And I know their weaknesses, I know their strengths. It's like, holy shit, if there's a guy to be able to do it, it's Donald Trump. This is, to me, the thing that puts him in the win column.
Yeah.
You know, because I want to smash him, and I don't know if I'm going to smash him today because You carefully selected the clips, you asshole, because I was ripping on Trump earlier on the abortion question, which you completely dodged, Jesse.
Well, but you're also saying, I love how he dodged the Ukraine question,
No, he did not. No, I'm not saying that. Jesse.
No, and I agree too.
This is what you do, Jesse, putting words in my mouth.
No.
It's not so fun when you get accused of that.
Oh, you don't like being accused of it. You just put that in my mouth. He did not dodge the Ukraine question.
He didn't answer the question that they asked.
He answered it 100%
yeah,
the way he
exactly. He answered the question he wanted to hear. Both times.
No, he
both
just answered
Ukraine
the question.
and abortion. He answered the question he wanted to hear. That's what you get
actually,
from Trump.
Okay, I guess I do see the... Okay, 1 point for Jesse there.
Yep.
That's a good... That is fair.
Isn't that like what they always do? Isn't that like the thing the politicians
Politics
do?
101, answer the question you want, not the question that was asked.
Yeah, I was just upset because the question on abortion was, would you sign a bill, a federal bill, that prohibits abortion? And Donald Trump dodged the question. He wouldn't answer it.
No, he said he was.
But in fairness to Jesse,
he said he
you're
will
right.
sign something, yeah.
He answered it the way he wanted to answer it. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I still look at it as dodging, but good point. Good point. See, look, my mind can be changed here. Okay, I still don't like how
right.
I still personally don't like how he answered that question.
Right, and also I know that you had some problems with how he talked about the debt and how
well, thank you.
some of
thank
the things
you.
there.
Thank you for bringing that up.
But,
let's get into that.
No, I think it was interesting too. And I'd have to get on my monetary hat again. And start digging into the Department of Treasury and the Federal Reserve and whatnot. But you were saying that lowering the interest rates is a bad idea.
Well, that's what Donald Trump called for. So the question was, do you think that Republicans should be fighting against the debt ceiling increase? And he was praising the House Republicans for fighting the way they were, which I agree with. The House Republicans should put their foot down and say, we got to stop the spending craze. Mm-hmm. And then she says, but you didn't say that when you were president. You accused the Democrats of holding up the process. He's like, what's changed? He goes, well, I was president then. It was a hilarious line, but it also was void of any kind of consistency.
Right.
And
but he
Donald
also
Trump,
said the Democrats are going to try to default the debt under him if he gets back in there. So he understands it's a political game,
yes, he understands politics very well, by the way. He's a very, very skilled politician, Donald Trump. Here's the thing. Donald Trump's two biggest falls, one's COVID. I don't need to rehash that. But the second big thing for Donald Trump that I have a problem with is he completely ignores the fiscal cliff we're going off of. And he's a proponent of a lot of the things that are problematic about America's economic system, including printing money out of thin air, handing them out to people, and creating inflation. That's what he did. And you can't look at, and he admits in it, he goes, we were growing our economy, which is true. The economy is growing, and the debt, because of our economy growing, was more, I think it was more, we were more capable of maybe fixing that in a position of strength, although there wasn't will in Washington, D.C. But then we got hit with COVID, and Donald Trump says, well, we had to do something because of the global pandemic. It's like, no, you did the wrong thing. You printed money thinking we could solve our problems that way, and you took out more government debt. And then he says we should lower interest rates. So he's accusing Biden and the Fed of increasing interest rates. Well, they're increasing interest rates because they got to tighten the money supply because we have out of control inflation. So honestly, Donald Trump, and he also goes after oil, and he's partially right in the fact that we don't have less domestic oil, but we don't drill as much oil as we should in America because of Biden's policies. But that's not going to solve the gas problem. The problem, oil and gas have gone up so much, is because there's more money. And that more money came from the start of Trump's stimulus programs in COVID, and then it prolonged to Biden. Biden just did it on steroids.
That wasn't the start to inflation.
The money supply doubled within like a year. Like all the money that's ever been created was like doubled within a short period of time, starting with Donald Trump. So he has no credibility on this issue. Now here's the thing about presidential politics. Unless we get some like Ron Paul character who's like a stern fiscal guy, it is what it is. Donald Trump sucks on this issue, and Biden's worse and sucks really bad. So both are bad in that column.
Right, but
in the
what
end,
do you think
it
should have
seems
happened
like,
then?
What's that?
Like what should have happened then? Obviously, the bill that we're talking about.
Government should have shrank. That's what they should have done.
Right, they should have cut costs, and
100%.
I agree with that. But the people themselves are suffering under COVID. Not any fault of our own. Just people who They're not allowed to go to their jobs. They're not allowed to.
Because
I think
of
that
government.
was it was the
Because
government's fault.
government's the problem here. Right? It wasn't because of China. Well, that was a big problem.
Yeah.
But it was government's overreaction to COVID that led to all these problems, and then they think they can print money to solve it. Like, do you think it's really that simple? We can solve our economic problems by printing money and taking on more debt? Like, what kind of idiots are you guys? And so that's what they do, and Donald Trump did it because it's the political expedient thing to do. And that's why I don't think we'll ever solve this, because no politician wants to run on solving the real problems. Like, by the way, Social Security and Medicare are completely bankrupt programs. No one wants to solve that. So we're just going to go off the fiscal cliff. It's going to be our children that are going to pay for that, mind you. And that's the other thing that pisses me off, is the reason they won't touch that is because seniors vote in higher numbers, and so there's no appetite to solve Social Security and Medicare. But what about these grandparents? What do they think? How is this going to get solved? Their grandchildren are going to be forced to pay for it. So you're screwing over your grandchildren. And no one has any appetite to solve this damn problem. And we saw in France, as soon as you want to touch pensions, riots on the street. So we have a real problem. Now, once again, I'm going to just lay off my horse here. Okay, I'm going to get off of it because Biden's no better on this. Okay, Trump's terrible. Trump is absolutely terrible on this.
The pretend Inflation Reduction Act that all it did was increase inflation. You know,
it was a green energy initiative. That's what Inflation Reduction Act.
And Joe Manchin wants to complain about how Joe Manchin voted for it, and then now complains about how it's being implemented. It's like, dude, it's your fault. You voted for it.
He did threaten to bring it back up and undo it, but I don't remember what the circumstances would have to be for that to happen.
Right.
Well, and what I was going to say is that just with Biden, because that's what it is. It's Trump versus Biden. Although I still would argue that they'll ditch Biden at the DNC convention and bring up Michelle Obama. So
don't count everyone else out yet. I mean, they're not running for no reason. I think they're kind of banking on the idea that something might happen to Trump in terms of like legal problems.
Oh, you're saying, yeah. Well,
With,
I mean, right
Georgia,
now, fair point. Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So
Right.
DeSantis could get in and
Mike Pence is getting in
Mike
next
Pence
month.
won't go anywhere.
I know.
Pence does
In
not.
fact,
Mike Pence does not motivate a single person.
He's probably solidifying the election for Trump because the field is just too broad now.
Yeah, and right now you have better odds betting on Nikki Haley than Mike Pence right now. If you were to go online to that Predictit website and bet on one of these candidates, you're better off with Nikki Haley than Mike Pence, And I've been doing great on the Trump stock. The Trump stock just keeps going up and up and up. So, that's
Sell.
also a good one to
Well, why don't
invest
you
in.
sell?
I'm thinking about it. But
What did you buy in on?
I bought it at 33 cents, and now it's at like 60.
You just doubled your money.
I know.
You should get out while you
Sell.
can.
No, I mean Trump is going to win the nomination, so it's going to go up even more.
That's
so
true.
right
You triple
now,
your money.
right now I'm up like $90. I'm going to be up $200 once Trump's the nominee.
That's all you bet?
Yeah, for right now. I mean, I'm going to keep
geez,
going.
Jake, what would you put in on that market?
When did you invest?
The first one I did was probably 4 months ago, and just a little bit here and there over time.
3 months ago. I might have put 1,000 on Trump, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially because his stock was pretty low at that point. And I said, "There's no way I'm getting in right now." So.
Oh, and he's not going to suffer at all from this sex abuse thing with this crazy woman.
Yeah, that crazy lady.
You know what? I'm sorry, I've ignored everyone at home. What do you guys got to say? Let's hear it.
Sorry, really fast. I do have to bring up. I have a meeting with the big man in the suite to our right in like a bit. So.
Yeah, well, we'll delay because this is important.
All right.
If that was code for you got to go to the bathroom, just go to the bathroom.
No. I'll
keep
make
the
sure.
camera
I'll make sure the big man in suite one knows.
When the on-air sign is, I'm the big man in the next one, in the next room. All right, what do you got, Bridget?
Razzle Dazzles on Rumble says Republicans have to significantly hold the line on spending, not 1% increase, but rather 5% decrease per year. Trump is a big spending president.
Yes, agree 100%. And by the way, that's not even going to solve the problem. It's just
Trump's going to negotiate the debt. People forget about that. He was waiting until his second term to figure that one out. But he's going to negotiate with China.
5D chess.
Well,
yeah, but China doesn't hold most of the debt. Most of the debt is held by Americans.
We
That's
could
the
start
problem.
with that.
And the Federal Reserve, which is funny money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what happens if you just say that we don't owe that debt, but the money is still there. The damage is already done. When the Fed gives us money, I mean, I guess you could default on the debt to the Fed, but it doesn't take away that money was created out there. The Fed doesn't have, what is it, like $5 trillion that they hold in U.S. Treasuries? Probably $10 trillion. I don't know what it is. It's trillions and they don't have trillions of dollars in a bank account.
Yeah.
That'd be, there's no bank that large, right? They created out of thin air. They put a digital money. They didn't like run through a printing press. They just create digital money and go, here you go, U.S. Treasury. We're buying these bonds. That's the money. So if they just say, well, we're not going to pay the Fed back, it's the damage is already done. The money's already in the economy and it's circulating. That's why we have higher prices. Sorry, I could go on and on about this subject. It really makes me mad.
Quite a few unpaid rants today.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I think Mark with $100.
That's true.
And
He
K-Wall
covered.
with 10. You're getting your money's worth tonight.
I said it once is I know a kid who once met Trump and liked him very much. Kids know what people are really like. That says a lot. Trump was very nice to this kid.
This sounds like
I've heard
Peggy
that before,
Flanagan
but-
there. We got to
yeah.
listen to our kids.
But there is something to
Well,
be said
Trump's
for that,
likable.
isn't
Of course he's likable.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I bet he's great with kids, too.
Monica Huron01 says Trump gave a great answer for that Ukraine-Russia question. Caitlyn just didn't like his answers. And then later on in the comments, I believe...
No kidding, Monica. 100%.
Napkin Nader
100%.
says that she replaced, she was rewarded today with Don Lemon's slot. So I think
Who's
this
that?
morning...
Oh, yeah, I was
Caitlyn.
wondering if that was the
I think
same
it's
lady
Caitlyn,
because
isn't it?
I haven't watched. But, yeah, she may have been one of the people who was in the Don Lemon morning show.
Is it just me or is she like the female version of Jesse Waters?
Yeah.
You get that vibe?
I don't know.
She's a good-looking woman, though.
She kind of reminds me of Dylan Mulvaney a little bit. That sounds mean, but she has like a little bit... I don't know.
Oh,
how to
man.
She
say
does
it.
look a little bit masculine.
She's like a
Like, it's
girl
just her
version of
face,
Dylan
like,
Mulvaney.
A little bit.
Yeah.
What Dylan Mulvaney wishes he could be.
I'm starting to feel bad for Dylan Mulvaney. Things are not going well. And it's like, you're just a crazy person and you've been hijacked by the left.
Yeah.
You kind of have a little empathy for Dylan Mulvaney. Like Budweiser, sales keep going down and everyone's hating on you. It's like, you have a mental illness. And the left is good at using people with mental illnesses.
He's probably using the millions he made to wipe away his tears.
Yeah,
I don't think
money's not
he's
the
making
solution to all
millions.
problems.
No, he did make millions.
You think millions
yeah,
off
but
this stuff?
money's not. Listen, money's not the solution to all problems. So
True.
it's easy for us
True,
to say
but-
that, but honestly,
Yeah, if you go
I
on
don't-
Twitter and everyone hates you, 80%
Yeah.
of the people that are replying to your stuff are saying, go die, like you're crazy, you're mentally
Again,
ill.
I mean, this
you know?
is the decision you make when you enter the public arena.
Yeah.
No one forced that decision, crazy or not. In fact, I would venture to say that probably a third of notable people are crazy in some capacity.
yes, but this is the problem with the left cult is that they love bomb you. So this is why we have to fight so hard against this transgender thing. Is they are. I mean, this hasn't been well thought out by them, or maybe it has, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But
I think there's a little bit of both.
It might
Maybe
be a
we
little
can
bit of
the
both.
establishment versus the activist class. Like
They're going down a really bad road,
Yeah,
and so they love bomb these people. And then of course if Dylan Mulvaney came out saying, "I am not a woman. I feel like this was dumb. I can't believe I did this 365 days of womanhood," they would crucify her. Look at me. I
Him.
did it. I did it.
Ooh.
I did it. Misgendered.
That's such a bold statement too.
Misgendered Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah.
I never even have I never slip up on that. Like it doesn't even.
Yeah, but you don't talk as
know.
much as us, Bridget.
Well, that's true. But even
We
like
just
when I
naturally slip
do,
up.
well, that's true. But even like when I speak to any of my friends or anything, it just never like comes to mind as a her.
I got it. I finally got Bridget's name. Miss Perfect. There we go.
Gosh.
Little Miss
I'll
Perfect
take it.
Bridget.
Actually, I do not like that sound. Of that.
Yeah, they're
It
not.
just sounds like.
They're not looking like this is gonna
Hoity-toity.
stick. We still need a name for Bridget. What do you guys think? What should we call Bridget? We got a name for everyone.
That'll be
Deep
our
State
next
Dawson.
our next giveaway. You got to figure out Bridget's name and the name we like the most. You get
Yeah.
a prize.
I'm trying to find a comment I saw earlier about a couple people brought it up. Something with James O'Keefe and the University of St. Thomas. But I don't know
University
if
of
you guys
St.
know any of the
Thomas.
story.
Yeah, I do know something about this, or at least was part of conversation. Keep looking for it. Let's go to this last clip, the town hall with a stolen election. If that's okay with you, Deep State. Is that okay with you?
You can take it up with Dale yourself.
I will take it up with them. Yep. Show must go on. This is show business. All right. We're going to do, so this is Trump on the stolen election. So this must be
Yeah.
the first part of the town hall, right?
Yeah, it's just a short of it, so less
Okay.
than 60 seconds here.
It was not a rigged election. It was not a stolen election. You and your supporters lost more than 60 court cases on the election. It's been nearly 2.5 years. Can you publicly acknowledge that you did lose the 2020 election?
Let me just go on. If you look at True the Vote, they found millions of votes on camera, on government cameras, where they were stuffing ballot boxes.
What you just said there, Republican officials debunked those claims about fraudulent ballots. We want to give you a chance tonight.
Who?
Republican officials in Georgia and every single state. There is no your own election officials, Mr. President. So we wanted to give you a chance.
People were afraid to take on the issue. All you have to do is take a look at government cameras. You'll see them. People going to 28 different voting booths to vote, to put in 7 ballots apiece.
But
I
Mr.
mean,
President,
they're all
I
on
have to
camera.
stop you there because there is no evidence of that. Your own election officials testified to that and have said that Republicans in these states
Does
did
kinda
this.
look
In
like
Georgia,
Dylan
there were
Mulvaney.
multiple recounts, including a hand recount. It was not.
Like the mouth.
Yeah, I mean, it's. Oh, I thought that said CNN actor. It
Yeah.
said CNN anchor.
Uh-huh.
That's what
That'd be
it should
good,
say.
though.
It's hard. People are going to fall for this because you got to know exactly what she's trying to do here, and it's a nice sleight of hand.
Right, and she kept saying, let me stop you right there.
Right.
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there, you know?
But I'm going to use your own people against you as if Mitt Romney speaks for you.
Yeah,
Donald
as
Trump.
if Brad Raffensperger speaks for Trump.
yeah.
You know, it's
Right.
like, that's not what's going on at all.
Most people on the right, so to speak, think something was messed up with the election. And we can unequivocally say that it was rigged. This will get us off YouTube, but who gives a shit? Because they changed laws. They changed election laws. It almost makes you think that COVID is one big scam to get rid of Donald Trump. I don't know if I believe that, but I'm just saying it would make sense.
Yeah, it'd make a lot of
because it
sense.
turns out that everyone can vote. Basically, it's the easiest time to vote ever. You can hand a ballot to someone that they didn't have verified signatures. They changed these laws. Only one election, and it's the election Donald Trump's on, and all of a sudden he's losing. And there's this, and everyone knows the damn what do we call it, the hockey stick, where all of a sudden Biden's votes shoot up, right?
Yeah.
We all went to bed on November, whatever that was, thinking Trump pulled it off again.
Yep.
And then all these votes come in, and it's like, and she used this against him. She's like, what about the recount in Wisconsin? You lost the recount in Wisconsin. It's like, recount's just counting the same fraudulent votes that are in. Oh, we didn't have a clip of this. She said there was zero fraud in Wisconsin. You remember that?
Wow.
She literally says there is no voter fraud in Wisconsin. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna stand by that statement? Zero,
Right.
nothing, not a
And
single.
basically, like, isn't all the evidence basically out there now to prove that the Arizona election was stolen from Kerry Lake? You know, it's like, it's all out there. People just got to do the digging and,
Well, now they're auditing 300,000 something ballots, right? Isn't
maybe,
that what I
yeah.
saw? Like, there's some new case where a judge granted her that to review
Yeah,
the
that's right.
signatures.
Well, this whole thing is just messy. That's the problem. It's all messy. I don't think we'll ever get to the bottom of it because the media, and this is what pisses me off, is I don't know where I stand on this issue. Was it rigged? Of course, to change election laws. I mean, Joe Biden campaigned in his basement and got the most votes in the history of presidential elections. I mean, come on. What are you talking about? That's the guy that's been in D.C. for 46 years? Really? That's the guy that won? Come on. So they rigged it by changing the laws. Now, did they cheat? I'm sure they cheated in places. Donald Trump
Yep.
just doesn't have a great explanation with lots of mounting evidence, which gives something to CNN here. But that doesn't mean he's wrong. And what makes me so upset is they just obnoxiously act like it's settled. And it's not like it's settled now. They did this right away. The stolen election claims, like November 10th, that's what they were going with. You can't, and then we get kicked off of YouTube for even discussing the topic. So that's why I don't believe the lying corporate media, is they've had the same damn narrative for years now, and anyone that says the contrary is wiped clean off of the airwaves or the digital airways. You can't even talk about it. Like we're still running the YouTube stream, aren't we, Dawson?
Yeah.
So like this might get taken down just for what I said right there. And that's my opinion. I'm not stating it as a fact. What is a fact is the rigged, right? They literally changed election laws, but they'll say that's denial of the election, and they'll take us off YouTube. So we'll get our second strike. I don't give a shit. Screw you, YouTube. Go to Rumble, by the way. Look up The Truth Hurts on Rumble. If you're not watching on Rumble, you should be watching on Rumble. All right, let's read comments and we'll finish it off. Dawson's got to go to the bathroom, I think.
So what Tucker said, St. Thomas is allowing men to dorm with women without their consent. They were caught on hidden camera talking to an administrator.
Without their consent. Wow.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize. So is that a transgender thing then, you think? Like,
Yeah, that's
don't
what I
know.
would guess. Yeah, that's what it sounds
I mean,
like
it
at
probably
least.
would be.
can you imagine that? Well,
Yeah,
first of all,
you get to college, and then all of a sudden, you open up the dorm, you're so excited, and then there's a transgender sitting there. Be like, hell no,
well,
hell no.
First of all, if you're a dude, you're just like it's never gonna be you just got put in a room with like a hot chick, right? That's not what's happening here, right?
No.
Because every guy's like, that would have been awesome. So that's not happening. Then it's like, even if you're a dude and you get placed with a transgender male, it's not like it's the weirdest thing in the world, because you're kind of like, well, she's still batting for the other team, right? So it's not like the weirdest thing in the world. It's the girl that ends up with the transgender woman. Imagine you're Bridget, you get in your dorm room, and Chris Finke walks in, now known as Lee Finke.
Yeah.
6'1", broad shoulders. Hey, I guess I'm your roommate, Bridget.
I think I would.
Just a
sleep.
bunch of gals hanging out here.
That's a good impression.
gosh.
You want to drink a Bud Light?
Yeah, that would not fly.
I'm so glad I'm not going to college. I feel bad, so bad. Even for people in school, I just feel it's so bad for them. All the stuff they have to go through.
How's my Lee Finke voice, by the way?
Good.
That was
That
pretty
was
good.
spot on.
Lee Finke talking to Donald Trump. Hey, Mr. President, would you like a Bud Light?
Uh,
Got anything to say, Mr.
no,
President?
I do not. I do not.
I don't like Bud Light. A lot of people like Bud Light. but not me.
Don Jr. really likes Bud Light. He was saying that we should end the boycott.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, what's the 4D chess on that one?
He likes Bud Light. What do you want
Jesse
me
still
to say?
drinks Budweiser, so
Yeah,
I
he
can't.
went PBR,
That's
though.
fake news. Yeah.
What?
Oh, do you go PBR now exclusively?
Well, it's not like I'm drinking that often. It's just
I thought-
last time I bought beer was PBR.
Oh, I don't know. I just assumed you had beer multiple times a week.
No, not really.
Oh, really?
Maybe 2-3 nights. I want a
Oh.
beer or two.
So you're saying, so you go through a 12-pack in a week or what?
Yeah, probably.
So the last time you bought a 12-pack was PBR.
Mm-hmm.
And so you probably due for another 12-pack soon, right?
Well, I actually got a 24-pack the last time.
Oh.
So
Oh,
I've
smart
been
smart man.
Yeah, I've
That's a
been.
good answer.
So do
able
you
to have a
think?
lot.
So do you think the next 24-pack you buy is PBR, or what are you thinking?
I don't know.
Let me just stop you right there, Mr. President. You say that you don't drink Budweiser, but
yeah.
but who owns PBR? Is it an Anheuser-Busch company?
I don't
think
know.
so.
I feel like everything's Anheuser-Busch.
I know a lot of them.
Nah, I don't think so. You looking it up?
Yeah.
I don't think so though.
They're their own brand? Or
Blue
are they-
Ribbon.
Blue Ribbon? Well, yeah,
Yeah.
the Pabst Blue Ribbon, but
Mm-hmm.
PBR.
No.
Here, why don't you read a comment? I'll look it up here
Go
so
for it.
we can keep it going.
There's a comment that no one is gonna like if I read it, but
Well, why?
YZ01 says Jake makes great points.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I think-
don't like that
I like
comment.
that comment.
I do not like that.
I know, but
Jake
I
is
have
in.
the same problem.
I think I'm-
Jig is-
A lot of people say Jake makes good comments.
A lot of people say Jake is fresh out of bad comments.
Lee Finke here.
Tucker's gonna come on and correct you again with Chris Finke.
Well, I'm playing the Lee Finke part. Take it easy there.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm Lee Finke. Why can't I be Lee Finke?
It can
Why
be.
is he going to be Lee Finke? I want to be Lee. He's not really Lee Finke. I can be Lee Finke.
I don't know if you should aspire to that, but
All right. What else we got here?
Dekalush says, I think they waived the second signature on absentee ballots here in Minnesota in 2020. I think we had 1.9 million absentee ballot voters that year.
Not even the second signature, unless they're talking about the one witness that you need.
Oh,
But yeah, in 2020, you didn't need a witness. You could just vote and then send it back.
Good.
Pabst Blue Ribbon Company and its parent company is Blue Ribbon Intermediate Holdings LLC. So no.
Looks
So
like
what
I'm
else-
in the clear.
What else does Blue Ribbon make?
Well, they owned a bunch of brands. So Jay Heileman, which was because I'm from around La Crosse, Oh, Lone Star Brewing Company. No kidding. That's a Texas brew. 'Cause when I go down to Texas, I drink Lone Star. Like if I go out out east, Yingling. Sorry, not Yingling. Pearl Brewing Company. That's La Crosse. Oh no, nope, that's not the. I was thinking of the Pearl Street. This is Pearl, which is another Texas brand. They also have Rainier Brewing Company, which is obviously Washington, Seattle, and then Jacob Schmidt Brewing Company, which is obviously hometown, kind of St. Paul. So
We still need to do that beer tasting with that beer that Tucker keeps recommending.
Yeah, he just mentioned it again. He said if Jesse likes Bud Light, that he'd wait, what do you drink, Jesse?
Budweiser. I don't like Bud Light anyway.
Oh, if you like Budweiser, then you're like, I don't even know how to say it. Houndstein. I'm
well,
not sure.
since a former brewery owner donated $100 to this stream, maybe we take that money and we use it for beer tasting. Or Mark, you want to come on the show? Why don't you? Let's do that. Mark will come on the show and we'll do a beer tasting.
Sweet. And we can get some of that Ultra Right beer.
Oh my God! First of all, I don't think we can because
they still haven't even started producing it yet. I don't
That's
think
a scam.
so. It is a
not
scam.
a scam.
It's totally a scam.
But it's so cringe. It's like, oh, we're Ultra Right Brewing and order a $50 12 pack and you'll get it.
I don't think Jake has the right to use the word cringe. He can't use any other Gen Z lingo correctly, but he gets to use the word cringe.
Wait, how's that your cringe? Isn't just your generation.
It is. We've claimed it.
I agree with Jake though. It is pretty cringe. It's like it's totally just like we got it's someone who's making a bunch of money because of the Dylan Mulvaney thing. There would be no there would be no market for it.
People,
but there'd be no market for it except for this Dylan Mulvaney thing. It's all a reactive type thing.
It's an alternative. It's a realistic alternative.
It's not a realistic alternative, man. $50, like he's saying, it's like a crazy expensive thing.
It's not $50
that they aren't even producing yet. They aren't shipping.
What is it called? The Ultra Right beer. Pull this up.
I don't just have this ready. What is it?
Just Google Ultra Right beer. God, he's getting testy with me. I think.
He just needs to big man next door.
Well, he's putting on so much mass. He's bulking up, and he's just like, I can even.
You think it's roid rage?
Yeah,
it might be roid rage. Deep State Dawson, roid rage.
Is it somewhere in here?
Scroll down a little bit. Not ultra light, ultra right. So it automatically.
Oh, it was the first option.
Isn't that funny how Google is like, oh, you mean ultra light, don't you? Mm-hmm. There you go. Ultra right. Verify you're over 21. Oh, what happened there?
Oh, cool. Pressing exit puts you to prevention first or whatever the fuck.
What?
Weird.
That must be like a law. Just type in just 1990 or something like that. Just change the year.
Yeah, 1932.
Yeah.
Support American values. Ultra beer. Order now. Yeah, click on order now. Made in USA, America.
It's
$20 six. It's a $20 six pack.
Without
I wasn't
shipping.
that far off.
You're paying
$40 for a.
That far off? It's $50. You said $50
for a 12 pack.
Yeah.
No. Hold on. I'm gonna prove myself. I'm gonna be right on this. Put add to cart.
Oh, it's a 6-pack.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be totally right on this one. Oh yeah, we need a shirt.
Yeah,
too.
we need a shirt.
Oh my God.
Too. Oh man.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
William,
let's see what the shipping is.
A real alternative would be available in stores and stuff.
Put two of them in there. Can you update the cart to 2?
I think we do simple math here, Jake.
No, because I want to know what they and tax is irrelevant here, but shipping. What does it say there total on the top?
It's gonna make
$59.97.
I was below. Wow. I was actually low, William.
Wait,
a 12 pack of ultra right beer is $60. You
guys are just haters.
No, that's the truth.
Look, we need to build an alternative economy here, or a parallel economy.
I agree with that.
And it's going to cost some money. That's just how it goes because you got to
don't order a beer that's never been tested, that hasn't even been brewed. Oh, did you do 3?
I fucked up. Yep.
Oh shoot.
I did 3, so it's actually $40 for.
Okay, but it hasn't had the tax in there. Why don't we put our address in there? And then there's got to be.
Why don't we put in our credit card information too?
Just easy there. Put Jesse Smith in there.
Yeah.
Who owns this?
Huh?
Okay.
owns this company?
It's some conservative. He does other stuff too, so he's not a scammer.
I know. I shouldn't say scam because I think you're getting a product.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's cringeworthy. Oh my God! I was under. It's 1407. You only get one option. U.S. ground. So the total cost is $54.05.
You know, just because of you
William,
guys'
William,
weird, firm opposition to this, I'm going to become a total shill for this guy.
Will you? Okay.
I'm going to
William,
buy
can I-
all
can
the
I
beer
hear it?
I
Waste a
can.
lot
Can you
of
just say I
money.
was right? Can I hear it? Can you say I was right?
You weren't right. You're wrong.
One might say I
Because
was
again-
ultra right on this one.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Look, I
that
mean,
was cringe.
That was.
look, I'm one of these days. I really do want to withdraw from all these big corporations that hate your guts.
Yes, but see, this is not a fair fight here, Mr. CNN moderator. Because I agree with what you just said, but this isn't a valid
But
alternative.
why are we? Why? Well, let's.
The premise of this conversation was this is very cringeworthy. You're paying $54 for a 12
You
pack
can
of beer.
criticize, but that's just the reality of it. I mean, they don't have these giant factories mass producing this
No, I
stuff.
totally disagree with that. You can buy local. You could PBR, in my estimation, is not woke at all. And you could buy PBR, which, by the way, red, white, and blue, good
You know
old
what?
Milwaukee company. You could buy PBR 12 pack for probably,
They
I don't
probably
know,
hate your
14
guts.
bucks. What does it cost? It's cheap.
Yeah, like less
13,
than-
14 bucks?
Yeah, less than that. A 12 pack for like
the
11.
Blue Ribbon probably
Oh,
hates
it's
your
under
guts,
a
though.
buck a beer? You
Yeah,
sure about that?
sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, you know
Depending
what?
on where
You
you
know
get
what?
it.
You're right. Because what I generally do is I buy tall boys.
Oh yeah.
I don't buy beer a lot, but I'll buy tall boys.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I'm used to the Miller Lights, or like a 6-pack is like $7. So yeah, those are 16 ounces. So yeah, it's under 11. It's like $11.
You know what we
Yeah.
should do? We should start our own line of beer. That would get, and then we could price it however you want.
No, you don't price it however you want, because then you just end up being that gimmick.
Wait, you're telling me there are costs? Whoa,
What?
there are costs to making things and selling them?
What do you mean?
Well, you're complaining about the price here.
You're telling me. Let's get back on the porn subject for a second.
That was the hardest pivot I've ever seen.
Well, I
Wow.
just yeah, I don't understand what you're getting at here. My point is, you can't just charge whatever you want because people won't buy it. Like the ultra right beer. How many?
Right, but you need to make
how
a
many people
profit.
do you think actually bought that beer?
Yeah,
Millions.
I think
not millions.
Yeah,
They're
I
gonna wait
bet-
2 months down the road because you know it takes a while for beer to ferment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now they're gonna wait for this beer to come out. Never. Maybe it's been tested. Maybe they got it. Maybe they got it. I mean, it's not that hard to make beer.
You can get the
drinkable beer
FDA
these
to
days.
approve anything these days.
By the way,
so.
it's not hard to make something that's as good as Bud Light. You know, you could do this at home, malt extract kit. I used to brew beer, so it's not that tough.
Yeah.
It'll be much better tasting than.
We
than
bought a
Bud Light.
brewing kit. We just got to use it.
But anyhow, you're gonna get this thing 2 months down the road. You're like, oh my god, I forgot I bought that, and then
It's a surprise beer.
yeah, but you spend an arm and a leg for it.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, look, I want to support alternatives, and I think it's worth paying the cost. That's
Yes,
all
but,
I'm
but
saying.
why is PBR not the alternative? I'm sorry for going to the
I've
extended
said
hours.
this over
I
and
want to
over
get this
again.
point done before we leave air. How is PBR not an alternative here?
Because they probably hate your guts.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen anything woke from PBR. That's kind of
Usually
why I
these
thought,
big corporations
you know,
do hate you, though. That's
They're
the
not
problem.
that big. I mean, they're not Anheuser-Busch.
Really? I feel like PBR is a
would
big...
especially suffer if they went woke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see what's happened to... Like, Bud Light, they've had those seltzers that you like. They've had the rainbow colored cans for a long time. Sorry, I just had to... Listen, Bud Light was already kind of a company that had a broader market. PBR... That's a man's beer right there. Well, here's another good one for you. What about Shell's? Shell's Brewing down in New Ulm, Minnesota. That's a decent
I've
sized
never actually
company.
had Shells.
Tucker mentioned that one too.
Yeah, Shell's is good. It's a
Greenbelt.
private.
He says Greenbelt.
Yeah,
as
is
well.
Greenbelt bought by someone? Greenbelt's good old fashioned blue collar beer.
It's a Minneapolis one, right?
Someone said Wabasha Brewery in St. Paul's good. Has a based owner.
A based owner, huh?
Based owner in Wabasha. All right.
So not a cringe owner, Jake, but a based owner.
Okay. Here's what we do. Dawson will like this. We need to do a show where we we go around the country looking for the most non woke beers. How about it? Or
I
the
like
most
this.
based breweries.
Based brew. That would be a good brewery name. Based brewery.
Okay. I'm done.
Base
Did we leave
breweries,
any
better beers.
big comments out there? I'm really sorry,
I don't
guys.
think so.
I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, people are still tuning in, so you know, I hope most people still liked it.
People really like the beer talk, I think.
They do. They like the porn talk too, there, William.
I'm just trying to make a point about societal collapse, but that's not important.
I just don't follow the logic that it goes from regular porn all the way to child porn.
I mean, look, I'm not
Maybe
the
not
best guy
everybody,
to
but a
make
good
the
percentage,
argument.
I think.
But you think, well, when you say good percentage, what is it?
I don't know exactly, but at least I think I would say at least probably 30% do. If I was just
Really?
guessing.
I don't
Yeah, because they
know
get
about
bored.
that.
It's true. Like you get bored, you're gonna go like maybe not just child porn, but other options out there you're gonna look into.
Here's what I'll say.
I think.
If you watch porn and you drink Bud Light, there's probably a high percent you go into trans porn. I think that's almost.
Sure.
Yeah, Michael Knowles was talking about this. I'll have to go back and look at that clip. But he was talking about how trans porn is becoming a big thing.
It's probably
hypnosis.
I bet it's not. I bet that's just another lie that they're telling you. Oh, everyone's becoming accepting. That's their. It's like, come on. I mean, that's what we were saying. I don't even think a lot of these people are truly trans. It's they want to belong to a community, right?
Yeah.
I think it is a deeper psychological.
Isn't that what
thing,
Chris Finke's book said? Is that you'll find out like trans porn is better than regular porn or something like that?
Right.
We have some support for William in the comments. I just always say TMBA because I don't know what this name is on YouTube, but William, you are right. And then Mike on YouTube as well says parallel economy. Let's go.
See, I'm
I think
making
they're
a lot of
referring
great
to both of them
points
to be
today.
Well, hold on. I take issue with that because we all agreed with them on the parallel economy. And
But you're
in this
bashing
parallel
the
economy, their
people trying to
PBR
create
a
a
better
parallel
choice than your
economy.
woke or your ultra right beer that's $54 for a 12-pack, which I've been proven right now. I've been proven ultra right that it is $50 for a 12-pack of beer, which you took issue with, which started this whole 10-minute conversation, William. That's what it is. You said,
Look,
Jake,
you
it's
guys
not $50.
You
for a
guys
12-pack.
are trying to tear down good people who are trying to make a living here, and that's what I take issue with, because you're going to discourage real alternatives down the road. People made fun of Rumble when it first came out, said, "Oh, it's too glitchy, it doesn't work. You know, why would I?"
I was going to say, Deep State Dawson still does that.
Like, why should anybody try to make an alternative if one, nobody's going to use it, and two, everyone that they're trying to cater to bashes it?
No, it's not that people shouldn't create alternatives. Everybody wants alternatives. Everybody wants competition. It's just I'm not going to take the competition seriously when it's $50.
Well, no one's going to force you to buy it, but like I don't
Sounds
understand like this 10-minute.
Sounds like you're trying to force me to, man.
Yeah,
I don't want
give me your wallet. I'm going to buy some for you.
Well,
no,
you were shitting on him for buying PBR. And you're like, you should go ultra right. It's like,
I wasn't doing that for PBR.
I kind of thought
Yeah,
you were.
I was making fun of you for
said,
Budweiser.
No, you said that PBR, they probably hate our guts too.
They probably do.
hate us,
But
without
you
evidence.
do.
No
You have
evidence.
no evidence.
All these big corporations do. I'm a little scorned because all the brands I did
that's
trust
leading.
and like.
That's leading. Listen, you have no evidence. Who's to say ultra right isn't also woke?
Because
yeah,
they
I'm
said
gonna
they're
get the
not.
dirt on them, man.
Yeah.
You better watch out.
All right. Well, let's do the beer tasting. We'll
do the
all
beer
come
tasting.
with our own.
I
beer
think it'd
talking
actually be a good
points.
show where we go
Yeah.
visit non-woke breweries. So what's that, like 6?
Well, if we
I
had
have
some
no
sort
idea.
of news van, we could,
I actually don't know.
go
Yeah,
back.
well, that is happening. I don't know most brewery owners if they lean one direction or not. I actually don't
I could
know the
see
answer.
like the craft brew type of places being more left wing, and then more of the
I can see
traditional.
it being 50-50. Yeah,
Yeah,
they got
yeah.
the business owner sense. They also got the creative. Who
Right.
knows?
I remember when mega patriot Lisa Monet, love her to death, wonderful, wonderful human being, Lisa Monet, opened up her bar in defiance of governor's orders down in Lakeville. Okay, this was what was the name of that bar? I can't think of it. The Alibi Drinkery. She opened the bar in defiance of Governor Walz's orders, and I went in there, and it was packed, by the way. But I went in to go do a story, did an interview with her, and next door to her was a completely shut down brewery, and the owner, was just a rude, obnoxious guy, pissed off at us, pissed off at me for even doing this thing. I was just like, this woke asshole.
Yeah,
Wearing a
most
mask too, by the way.
most of the breweries that I visit these days, breweries and bars, they have like a pride flag up, so you know where they stand. So it might be not as friendly as you think.
No, I would think that they lean a little bit more left, and maybe they just – you don't make a ton of money in a brewery. I mean, obviously, we're just talking about Mark Anderson. He sold it or got rid of his brewery,
Oh, I didn't know he got rid of it.
Not that it wasn't successful. It just wasn't – it's not like if Mark had a massively successful brewing company, I'm sure he would have sold it if he wanted out of the brewing industry or kept on with it. It's just not – I know the margins. It's not great margins in that industry. You got to get really big – and then when you get to a certain level, then the Anheuser-Busch's buy you up.
So what you're telling me is there are limited margins in the beer game.
Yes.
And that there are bigger players out there who will probably buy you out if you are successful.
Yes. So where are you going with this?
I just wanted to clarify your position here.
What's my position? Where are you going with this?
Good alternatives who share our values probably aren't going to have help from the Anheuser-Busch's or whoever of the world.
Yes, but you don't share
it's
my
gonna
values
be more
by
expensive.
charging $54 for a 12-pack that'll get 2 months down the road. There's no values there that you share with me. That's the problem with ultra-light beer. What are you, sponsored by these guys? My God.
Maybe I should be at this
You
point.
should be.
I didn't plan on doing a whole
Listen,
tangent
I
on
don't
ultra-light
want you as a
beer.
sponsor of the Truth Hurts show, but you can individually sponsor William, and he'll wear your damn shirt.
Yeah.
Watch, and you're probably cheap, too. You'll be like, just give me a free shirt, and I'll wear it.
I'll randomly bring up your beer at a weird time of the show, every show.
Yeah.
William will bring up your beer at the 1 hour 45-minute mark of your show.
All right, let's end
All right,
this
let's
thing.
wrap
We
it
went
up.
2 hours. I was just trying to make Dawson nervous for the last half hour. We don't usually go more than an hour and a half. And honestly, interesting conversation. So, and we appreciate you guys watching. I'm sorry if we didn't get to your comments. Carol Hexham, you won the signed copy of Liz Collins' Their Lying book. Go watch. I don't even know how to tell you to watch the CNN town hall with Trump because it's not really on the internet. Go to actionforliberty.com. Action, the number 4liberty.com. You got to read these stories, and you got to pass it around, and you got to reach out to these senators. We got to stop this crazy pedophilia language. We got to stop this gun control. These guys are insane. So reach out. Go to actionforliberty.com. We'll see you back on Tuesday. Thank you very much.